Faster. Faster. Go. Faster, harder, higher, go. Faster. Faster, harder, higher, go. Go. Faster. Faster, harder, higher, go. Faster. Faster, harder, higher, go. Faster, harder, higher, go.
When we are apart, I will remember the summer. Remember when everything was bright and new.
I just want you to be more patient because these guys just play contact. So,
Okay, Team Secret, we need you guys on the stage now. Come on, let's go.
let's go.
Tara, let's go, let's go.
Tara, tara. Let's go, let's go.
Red Bull gives you wings.
立ち日グループ100周年。私たちは愛する立川にかつてないワクワクや感動に出会う場所を作ってきました。そして今大きな夢の実現に挑戦しています。立川と世界を文化、芸術、スポーツでつなぐ。私たちが愛する立川を世界に愛される都市に。立川と世界をつなぐ立ち日グループ。
Red Bull gives you wings.
Locky is spotted here in Boathouse, and Munchkin behind them, so they're just going to push in and try to take down Lakia, but Lakia will not go down without a fight. He picks up 2. Can he make it 3? Nice! As the paranoia is going to come out, and now something picks up 4 in total, nearly gets the ace as Rossi tries to hold it down. Have to start this one up here in just a little bit. He's trying to get that kill first, but it's not going to happen. Rossi. And now, putting up the walls, getting up into the corner. Bit by bit, Talon trying to make their presence felt on this map, but they're just locking up for Mind Freak. Nice one. Just lurking on over, and they're able to get onto this B site. Buzz is in a lot of trouble. What? He is, oh no, he's gonna get the one in Bane!
A ride for Genji. Unbelievable, the timing there from Vayne, and they're just, right as they're jumping in, they're just dead.
Cannot find that kill. The Tane does go through. Bane caught over guarded. Stacks wrapping around backside. Comes with the kill. Auto for Ziggy, but he's not ready for Jing there in 2. Kill found Jing. Gets another. Gets the 3rd. He's looking for the 4th. And he has it!
It's the mid-season Laura Finals today here in the COEX Shinhan Card RTM in Seoul, South Korea. Welcome to VALORANT Champions Tour Pacific Stage 1. The final 3 teams are secured for Shanghai, but this weekend will determine some really critical placements as we move forward in the regular season and Masters. I'm your host, Victoria, aka Chubby Ninja, joined by none other than William and Quack. How you guys doing today in this rainy day in Seoul?
Absolutely shining despite the rain because we waited a whole week, right? Us in Pacific, we got to take some time off. The teams got to prepare, and now we're going to have 2 back-to-back best of 5s to determine who's going to be the top seed going into Masters Shanghai.
Back-to-back best of 5s. That's like a lot of matches, but also really exciting ones. I mean, just based off of the performances from last week, you know, T1 did take down Gen G, but also like Gen G taking down DRX. What was that about?
I mean, Gen G looking back alive, right? Trying to find a little bit of that shimmer that they had at the beginning of the year.
Absolutely. And Gen G, I mean, a lot of us started to doubt them a little bit, in especially that DRX match, and it looked like it was going to be very much in DRX's favor, and they completely turned it around, and we were definitely going to break that down more later today. Now, we were talking a bit about how important this weekend is. Yes, 3 teams already qualified for Shanghai, but William, why does it still matter this weekend?
Because obviously the top seed, Riot just announced what exactly the benefits are going into Masters Shanghai. So it's not just the usual, oh, you get like a higher seed or you get a bye, but you also, not only do you go straight into playoffs, but you get to select your own opponent, and on top of that, you also get the 3 championship points. So this is like a lot of benefits for the entire year, basically.
That's so OP, dude.
It's very OP. I mean, when you really lay it out like that, it's very OP because you're not only getting the 3 championship points that boost you towards Stage 2 and Champions, but also, I mean, boosts you towards another potential +3 at Masters Shanghai, right? Gets you one step closer towards the finals of Masters Shanghai. So everybody wants to be that #1 team.
Oh, yeah. And being able to choose your own opponent. How do you feel about that, Quack? It feels like gym class. And you kind of don't want... It's the opposite, though. You don't want to be picked. I think there's some implications there sometimes.
Little bit. I mean, it's like if we were to play our guess and gain game, and I'm going to try to rank up, and I have to beat someone in a 1v1. I have to pick someone that I know I will beat, right? And that's going to be William. So...
Wait, I'm not. Am I at the bottom? Oh, maybe I am. I don't know, man. Listen, my predictions are all over the place this year. I've pretty much given up on that. But I really like that. I really like that we're going to have a little bit more of, teams actually, maybe some more mind games, obviously a little bit more character as well. But it's really nice to know that it's worth giving it your all here in the international leagues, right? Before it was kind of like, okay, we get a bye, great. But if not, you're still going to have to grind through anyway. But now it's like, oh, I get to choose my own opponent. I'm potentially maybe first, right? Depending on the random order. That sounds brilliant.
I think it's going to make a lot for interesting storylines, definitely interesting banter back and forth between some of the teams. And now we're looking at the championship points. Gen.G still the lead, but you know what? Not by a lot anymore.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much in order, 8, 7, 6 there at the top. But I think that is something for Gen.G to remember, right? If they, if they're able to not only just win today, but maybe even win tomorrow, get that extra +3, they're pretty much safe for champions one way or another.
And then the other thing is for Paper Rex, that's just 1 point difference. If Paper Rex can take the whole thing home, and of course, do even better, in Shanghai and everything, that will be a lot more for Champion Seoul as well. T1, I think, is the one that's kind of lagging behind a little bit, so this match matters a lot.
Actually, absolutely. In fact, it's the folks in the 4 points, 3-4 point range where this is going to be really important because likely these top 3 teams here will be secured for champions anyway, possibly at least 2 of them. So for those of them in the middle, they really need to catch up because they want to get that 4th slot in for champions here in Seoul.
Right. I mean, you never know what's going to happen in stage 2, so just getting those points ahead of time because we've seen a lot of fans, some teams also worrying about, our stage 1 performance wasn't good. Our hopes for champions already seem so slim. But, for T1, they're in the middle of the pack, but they have a chance to say, no, we're solidly in 4th place so far, and then potentially getting more going into Shanghai as well.
They've also confirmed that your performance in stage 1 still carries forward. So it's not a hard reset for stage 2. So a lot of teams right now are trying to do whatever they can to fix as much as they can for stage 2. And now we're looking at all of the qualified teams. I believe China was playing last night and they've gotten their 3rd team. The Dragon Rangers going in for Shanghai. This is going to be very, very exciting. I know Pacific is less of a surprise in some ways, but the other regions, very surprising. Even with Fnatic there, they didn't really qualify in the way that we expected. How are you guys feeling about Masters and how Pacific will be faring against these guys?
I agree with a lot of people, and I'm a little afraid to say this, that I think Pacific has a really great shot, or it's one of the best shots that Pacific has, just because I think it's always going to feel like that until Pacific finally wins a trophy, right? Because Pacific's been improving, everyone's improving, so I think so. This is nothing against the other teams. I mean, I think the fact that we have some surprising teams making it from all the other regions means that they've also improved immensely. Their mechanical skill is absolutely, out of the water for sure, but you gotta imagine that some of these Pacific teams, the fact that you probably assumed that they would make it, gives them a little bit more stability.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's a lot more growth, a lot more stability. But I'm just thinking about the potential storylines, or EDG not really making it as the way that we thought, and FPX picking Clo from China, but also just these potential matchups in some of these teams. You got Aspas from Leviathan, maybe against Paper X, for example. I would love to watch a Jing versus Aspas duel.
Yeah, I would say, I think that's a good point you brought up, just simply even between Aspas and Jing. I think this is going to be some of the most individually mechanically talented matches that we've seen ever when it comes to international events for VCT.
Absolutely, and going along with that, 100 Thieves has Boostio. It'll be really cool to see that rematch again because, Evil Geniuses is obviously a different roster now, to see them go against Paper X one more time. Now, today is going to be 2 Korean teams, T1 versus Gen.G. Now, Gen.G, yes, they have been doing really well. They placed 2nd in Masters last time, but T1 is one of the few teams that has defeated Gen.G.
Oh, what is this? Yeah, I mean, between the head-to-heads, T1 has always beaten Gen.G, but those results were kind of, from last year, a little bit outdated. They haven't really played this year all that much, so how's that going to look today?
And now T1, we know the teams are coming in, and T1 has completely, I wouldn't say completely, they completely changed their IGL, but as a result of that, the T1 playstyle has shifted a bit, William.
Yeah, I mean, they look a lot more decisive as well. They're not... Before, it felt like they were still trying to keep some of their old color of like macro map play, you know, slow and kind of going by the system and then having like skirmishes. But now they're much more focusing on we get info, we work off of that, and we force just with our absolute firepower.
And that looked really good in the way that they played against Gen G last week. I mean, so many of those rounds, so many of those maps, like, it really felt as though T1 was just getting the read against Gen G. And Execute, as the IGL, was prepared for so many of those situations. They knew when Gen G was about to execute. They knew when to like stay hidden on the site and peek out at the right times. Execute just fragged out of his mind.
I am getting a little worried looking at this graphic, though. I do see a trend for T1. Right? And Carpe really trying to break his old second place curse by going third in everything so far. And he's right on time for it today, because if they lose today, they're third again.
No.
So they're going to have to try their darndest, because otherwise they're setting an absolute example for themselves for the year.
I'm sure they're looking to break this record, though, this trend anyway. And Carpe has been performing differently since the IGA role has moved over to Xcurate. And, you know, this team is also just... There's something about them in those mid-rounds. If they can get there, they're very aggressive and they really like to surround their opponents. They're like this hornet's nest that comes in. And I like that about T1. It's very different than your typical Korean Valorant style.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, you know, they are one of the closest teams to Paper Rex in terms of just color and tempo, right? Obviously, maybe that's also why that matchup isn't good for them. We can talk about that in the future, maybe. But overall, like you said, it's very different from the Korean style. It's not systematic. It is about, okay, who's doing well this map, and then let's make sure we set them up for success. And to me, a lot of times it has to be Rossi or Izu. Put them on a comfort role, put them on a comfort map, and they will frag for you.
And that's the thing, like, I think it happens because of some of these players as well. That's why they're not fully like Korean systematic.
Now, Quack, we are looking at Gen G. These guys were a little shaky during stage 1, but they really seem to have found their footing once more with that DRX match last week.
I mean, they were like just really, really strong on a whole other level. I mean, some of these players really just, they've been growing, they've been doing extremely well, as we can see from their Gen G record. But the entire squad, I mean, you got Texture, Karen's always been good, but Munchkin has been stepping up, not only as the IGL, but he's been racking up kills as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think Munchkin bringing up that X Factor a lot more consistently than he did last year when he was on actually T1 is a very good sign. However, you saw the stats earlier of how often this team goes to a full best of 3 and the best of 3s. You're looking at their win rate so far. It's always been a tough road, and a lot of that is because of the style they choose to play, right? Very systematic based on trades, which means a lot of the rounds are going to be hard won. A lot of times it's going to go to the very end, and sometimes you're just waiting for Texture to turn that switch on again. You're just trying to hang on for dear life until your solo hard carry can really rise back up to the top.
Takes a little bit of time sometimes, and I think that's why they have this kind of notion that they're like a slow starter a little bit, but at the same time, like when they really do switch it on, they really get it going. And that's something that they're so good at. I mean, they are a team that can be really explosive with some of their executes, especially when Texture is just on a roll. And that's something that lends to their defensive side as well. When they feel like they want to go on the offensive and they want to take some duels against their opponents, it can be really, really strong.
Gen G is one of those teams that really reminds you how much of an FPS Valorant actually is. Their raw firepower is, I would say, one of the best in the world right now. And when they're switched on, they look monstrous.
Yeah, and again, I think a big part of that is not just individually how many headshots can each player get, but again, the way they're setting up trades, the way they're covering for each other, not with utility, but with guns. I think that's the most important thing, and that's something that you can abuse. We've seen it throughout VCT Pacific in terms of punishing that, but when Gen G locks that and you look at the minimap, they're all watching for each other's angles and for each other's backs.
Now, we are looking at Rossi and Munchkin right now. Rossi is a new addition to T1 this year, and he brings not just, I think, his way to break down the game, but his energy has been really crucial to T1's overall vibe.
I mean, he's always the guy that's kind of laughing and clowning around a little bit. He always loves the support from his fans. but it's the way that he plays, that personality that he brings to the team. Oftentimes we've seen him on that Viper, and sometimes he'll swap over to the Initiator or like a KO or something, and he does so much more. I mean, T1, you know, like an all-star roster, and they lend a lot of different looks because of his style, his utility, and it's very different from that, you know, all-Korean like dynamic.
Yeah, and I think watching T1, you get the sense that it doesn't always have to be your primary IGL, but you do want someone outspoken in that Initiator role that's always going to be in the thick of things, that gets the info, because we see that the same with Munchkin, right? He's the IGL for Gen G. He's always in there, in the fight, getting that information and making decisions based off of it. We've always heard Rossi's very vocal in the comms. Ever since he switched to playing that KO, things like the Sky a lot more often, T1 has looked way more decisive and way more confident in the choices that they make in the game.
Now today is going to be a best of 5. Quack, in terms of their map picks, what are you expecting here? Yeah.
Well, I mean, we can take a look at how many of these bans have gone through. Icebox clearly isn't a favorite, but based on maybe not Icebox, right? But based on last week's matchup, like you have to think about that one, because that one went the distance, and T1 looked really good on some of these maps, like Ascent, for example. And you have to think about which of these maps are going to get banned. I mean, I don't think Gen G would want to face T1 on Breeze again.
Yeah, I mean, I think Breeze and Lotus, those are the two that one of them you have to choose, right? Obviously, it's a best of 5, so you only get one ban. But just given the record so far, perhaps Breeze is it. I mean, we've seen T1's Lotus get shaky a little bit depending on the comps and the other teams. Obviously, Gen G, Lotus always has been very, very solid. So I agree. I think Breeze is a good ban for them. But on the flip side, if T1 still bans the Icebox, I mean, going into a best of 5 with a permaban is an absolute disadvantage. So I would really hope that they're at least leaving it open. Like, you don't have to pick it. You don't have to throw any sort of crazy curveball. But I hope that they leave it open, in which case, I actually think T1 might be favored a little bit in the map draft.
Really?
What do you make of that, Quack? You're kind of tilting your head.
I'm actually a little bit curious, because like if they have kind of perma-banned it this whole time and then leaving it open, what does that mean for T1? Like, do they have tricks or something?
Well, the thing for me is that T1's going to have the choice. So I think they should choose Team A because it's a best of 5. And T1 shouldn't ever be thinking about winning 3-2. They should be thinking about winning 3-0 or maybe maximum 3-1. So even if you lose the Icebox, you let that go, right? And then you say, we've prepped against your Sunset. We're still confident in things like our Lotus and Breeze. And you should have that benefit of trying to end the match early, which we've seen what Gen G can do if the match drags on. So I think that's the benefit they'll have. And they're going to ban out the Sunset.
And the Breeze, of course.
They're not even saying anything. They're just being mind reading right now.
It's a mind
chess match
in VCT Pacific.
T1 Autumn is just transmitting it through his head, right?
Now, do you pick the Icebox here if you're Gen G? Because they used to like it. They've been avoiding it as well. And they do. So, okay. It's not surprising. Obviously, both teams, I think, are going to prep it. But the fact that Gen G's picking it also, I think, sends a message to T1 of, like, we were prepared that you might leave this open. So we're not going to let this get away from us.
Which is a little bit threatening. And then T1 picks the bind against Gen G, which is another map where I'm not entirely confident for T1 because Gen G has looked really good on that map before. But it does come down to how well T1 can play as a team. You know, we've got Xgear on the Harbor, for example.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think the bind, they had to have cleaned up. I mean, listen, they've been playing this comp since last year. T1 has to have cleaned that up. But Gen G's split pick, I think, beautiful. Izu has never looked comfortable on that raise when he's playing that double duelist. Yes, we haven't seen it in a long time, but you have to imagine it's something similar. And Gen G's been very reliable with that double duelist as well.
Oh yeah, Meteor alongside Texture, and then back to the final decider, Ascent, where, you know, that's how their first matchup started.
Now going back 5 maps, starting with Lotus as the very first one, and T1, you know, this is their pick. Obviously, you can see why when you have 3, obviously we got a chamber there, but we got 3 superstar oppers on this team.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Xcured, of course, who's the main opper now, but Saya always good for it whenever he picks it up, even with the Outlaw. And Carpe, if he's able to pick up a dropped operator from his teammates, he's always performed as well. So you've got a lot of long-range fights, but we've seen their weaknesses time and time again now, Quack.
Yeah, sometimes with the coordination or controlling a map that is this wild and this big, it's a little bit difficult, especially with the speed that Gen G can go at sometimes. So I'm definitely going to be looking at T1's defensive side a lot more. I mean, we need Carpe to be a little bit proactive to get that information for the team so that Xcure can make the right calls, the right reads, and they have to be prepared for some of these hard hits that Gen G can definitely throw their way.
Yeah, I'm also looking at Xcurate as well, because if he can land the first shot, the biggest thing is he has a get out of jail free card. So that completely ruins Gen G's idea of we're always going to stick as a team and trade for each other and keep the numbers up. Because even if they lose that first guy and then he rendezvous out, guess what? Now you're playing a 4v5 every round. So that's a lot of pressure on Xcurate, but also, does that mean that Gen G should maybe overinvest their utility just to take out the chamber or push him back, right? Not take damage from it, because then they should have confidence that once in the site on either side, they should just be better with trading.
I mean, I'm telling you, that's precisely what Gen G is aiming to do, probably. I mean, this map was left open. It was going to be picked at some point, maybe earlier sooner than later. T1 has been playing Lotus pretty darn well before, but they have to watch out for Gen G, because not only is it texture, you have a whole team full of ready firepower, and they are always good for their trade.
Oh, absolutely. Now we have to talk about our predictions. Last time these two teams faced off, it was a full Gen G prediction. This time, well, except for me, which I was right. But this time, you've joined the T1 train.
You've been
Quack.
convinced.
I have to, yeah. Yes. After watching that, after like listening to Victoria Chubby Ninja's predictions, I was like, no, this sounds like it makes a lot of sense. I gotta go for it.
Then I like that rationale. I like that rationale.
Okay.
I mean, do you want to add on to that?
I'm bandwagoning.
Yes, we caught that. We caught on to that. The bandwagon's pretty small so far, I'm noticing, but it is rolling somewhere. For me, it's just we finally saw that spark come back alive in that DRX match for Gen G, right? And I think we saw them regain that confidence. And also, knowing that Master Shanghai is going to be on a different patch, there is no longer any reason for Gen G to try to just only rely on fundamentals. They're going to pull out all the stops. They're not going to want to stop at third place. And I think that just means that they're going to come out firing on all cylinders. And T1's going to have a bit of a rude awakening, realizing, okay, maybe this is a bit of a different Gen G than last week.
I think this is going to be an extremely close matchup. I think the disadvantage that T1 has is exactly because it's an advantage and disadvantage because they switch at IGL to Xcure, and that's proven to be really effective. But that means they are changing. I mean, he said it himself, they're changing a lot of fundamentals, a lot of structure internally, and that will take time. And that's why I think it's going to be closer. I think if that wasn't the case, if this was 4 weeks from now, I think T1 definitely would win, given how they play. That said, it's close on Gen G, so if they win today, I'm not going to be surprised.
I think, yeah, the thing is, like, it's going to be close, but because of some of these switch-ups, because of some of these changes, it's also going to be a T1 that feels very different for Gen G, so there is that slight chance, and I'm rooting for T1 to take that win.
Yeah, exactly, and I do like the changes. I do like, their team is literally more global, and it seems to actually be in their gameplay style. Now, they're a best-of-5 maps, so we also did map predictions, because that's this week's Guess in Game, or the very last. These 2 days.
Finally, no more coin flips.
There are no weird questions.
Yes.
It's just who's going to win this map. So Lotus, this is the viewers' votes. It's T1 and 60%, 40% Gen G. I think this is a very reasonable prediction, viewers.
I mean,
wingman.
It's always going to be close between these two teams, especially on Lotus, right? This is an absolute comfort map for both teams. I don't think you can be faulted for picking either or.
Sure, I mean, but you have to pick one, right? And that's why I feel like T1 gets the higher pick, just because, you know, first of all, you got that chamber, the get out of jail free card. If they can really pull it off, that would look really sick. But if not, I mean, Gen G has been really strong on this map as well.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about our map
are we doing it?
predictions. We are doing it.
Right.
Do we pull up the board?
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
I think.
You think?
I think.
I think too.
I think this is. I
Are
do
we
like
all
to
the
think.
same?
As a human being, I do like to think.
You like
I
to
use
think.
my brain. It may not
You
seem
like
like
your
it,
thinking
but, all right.
games.
All right, guys. Let's see if we agree with the viewers, and I do.
Yeah.
And so do you. All right, well, you've voted for Gen G to overall win this match, but for map 1, you're going with T1.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing for Gen G in the match is that it's a best-of-5. They've had this experience. They've been able to grind. But when it comes to Lotus, unless Gen G is bringing out the Breach, right, or the Neon, something that really hard counters the Chamber, right, and they're able to really push through and up their tempo, then I think T1's comfort is still just going to be a little bit favored. I also just want to add, this is going to sound crazy because you guys have been bandwagoning back and forth amongst you two about T1, but I do think the map draft favors T1 in a very, very interesting way, just simply with the Icebox mind game. So I think it's anybody's right now, but Lotus, you still gotta give the edge to Xcurious Chamber right there.
No, definitely. If you want to know the real reason we both picked T1 is because we wanted to bully you. It's not even, there's no other real reason.
It's so nice to feel like I'm back in middle school. That's really what I wanted on VCT. I will also say, this is a comfort map for T1 as well for Izu, right? This is another one where he can play that Omen that he's comfortable with. We've seen how much better he looks when he's playing that Omen. He can kind of play with his own free agency. So while this is nothing against Gen G, I think it's simply T1 just looks really good on Lotus.
They really do, and that's something that we're banking on. I mean, basically 2 words, you know, Xcurious Chamber. That's what it all comes down to. If he can pull it off, that would be great. But there's that slight chance that Gen G is kind of prepared for that. So while, you know, I do like that we're, you know, all on this T1 bandwagon for this map for now, I am a little bit nervous. I mean, look, we got Achilleos, Paper Thin, and Valdez on the Gen G train.
Well, Achilleos and Valdez still can't let go of their League of Legends backgrounds. That's probably why. So.
Is that why?
No.
I thought they were just geniuses. On the other side.
I mean, you know, if you're predicting the Gen G to win the match, they're also undefeated on Lotus so far this stage. They've always liked picking it even at Masters Madrid, so can't fault them.
Well, who knows? You never know with VCT and with Valorant, especially when it comes to these 2 Korean teams. All right, we want to talk to someone we have not talked to at this desk before. It is Coach Solo from Gen G. So let's welcome Solo. Woo!
Oh my God.
Hello, Solo. Hi, welcome. Hi. Yeah, so, okay, I want to ask you about last week against DRX. What happened there? How do you feel about that match? It looked like DRX was going to win. Your backs were against the wall against Sunset, and somehow you turned it around.
네, 그럼 먼저 저희 지난주에 대해서 잠깐 얘기를 나누고 싶은데요, 감독님. 지난주에 이제 DRX와의 경기에서 사실 초반에는 DRX가 순탄하게 이길 것 같다는 분위기가 있었습니다. 근데 언젠가 무언가 스위치를 딱 키면서 젠지가 역전승을 할 수 있었는데 그 비결이 무엇이었을까요?
저희가 원래 선셋을 잘 준비를 잘했는데 스크림에서 했던 거와 좀 반대되는 상황이 선수들이 좀 약간 라운드가 밀리고 있으니까 약간 그렇게 하지 않아서 우리가 원래 했던 방향대로 하자 그렇게 해서 이제 잘 되다 보니까 쭉 따라가지 않았나 그렇게 생각합니다.
So for Sunset, we actually prepped it very well, we felt. But once we started to basically lose and going on that losing streak, I think the players started to kind of lose their head a bit. And it was very clear that we were not playing anything that we prepared. We weren't playing like we were in scrims. We kind of lost that direction. So I reminded our players, hey, just show what we prepped, right? Just remember why we prepped this way, what we were looking to do. And once those plays started to come through, I think that's how we were able to bring back the victory.
How are you feeling going into Shanghai now? Because that was the qualifying match. How are you feeling going to Masters this time around?
네, 그러면 이제 DRX 전의 승리로 인해서 이제 마스터즈 상하이로 다시 한번 더 출전하게 되셨는데 상하이를 앞두고 있는 마음가짐은 어떠신가요?
2번 연속 마스터즈를 가게 돼서 너무 기분이 좋고 일단은 준우승했으니까 우승을 해보고 싶고 그리고 센티넬이 안 와서 좀 아쉽습니다.
So first of all, obviously getting to go 2 times in a row, an absolute blessing, and we're very happy about that. And last time we were runners up, we got 2nd place. So obviously we want to win that trophy, but it is a little sad that Sentinels didn't qualify because obviously, of course, they were in that matchup in the grand finals.
Right on. Well, if I were to shift the focus to today's match, I mean, what do you think of that map pick? Like, why is Icebox left in? How does Gen G feel about that?
네, 그러면 오늘 경기에 대해서 좀 여쭤보고 싶습니다. 이제 맵 밴픽을 보니까 T1이 드디어 아이스박스를 오픈을 해두고 바로 픽을 하셨는데 뭐 어느 정도 예상은 하셨었는지 그리고 아이스박스에 대해서 좀 어떻게 예측을 하고 어떤 생각을 가지고 계신지 궁금합니다.
아이스박스 선셋을 밴할 거라고 조금은 예상을 했었어가지고 선셋을 밴하면 아이스박스를 저희는 꺼낼 생각이었고 저희 일주일 동안 아이스박스도 연습을 했거든요. 왜냐면 저희가 만약에 이기면 PRX랑 해야 되기 때문에 그래서 T1도 제 생각에는 많이 부족하다고 생각을 하고 저희도 솔직히 좀 요새는 약간 중간 정도의 맵이기 때문에 그래서 좀 더 아이스박스를 일주일 동안 연습을 많이 했고 충분히 자신 있어서 네, 이길 수 있을 것 같습니다. 네.
So we actually expected them to ban the sunset. It wasn't so much about the icebox, but we were expecting they would probably ban the sunset after having seen it. So then if icebox is left open, for us, just thinking about our own situation, obviously if we do win today, we're going to have to play against Paper X tomorrow anyway. So this is a map that we're going to have to showcase that we are prepared. So we actually really focused on icebox in the past week. And we believe that both T1 and Genji aren't quite at full potential, and especially on that icebox. So we just thought if we full focus on it for 1 week, we should be more confident going in. And so that's why we were able to pick it for the second map as well.
I have a two-part question. Do you believe in the rematch curse in your vast experience, or do you think it'll be easier this time around? And on the other side, do you think Genji or T1 should be feeling more pressure today as the Korean team?
그러면 일단 두 가지를 또 추가로 여쭤보고 싶은데, 한 가지는 많은 분들이 리매치를 할 때 저번에 졌던 팀이 더 약간 쉽게 느낀다. 왜냐면 한번 패배를 해봤었기 때문에, 맛을 봤기 때문에 더 쉽게 이길 수 있다, 이런 얘기가 있는데 감독님은 그거에 대해서 의견이 어떠신지 궁금하고요. 그리고 두 번째로는 오늘 경기에서 T1과 젠지 중에 이제 한국 팬들 앞에서 누가 더 부담을 많이 느낄 것 같으신지 한번 여쭤보고 싶습니다.
일단은 저희가 첫 번째 만났을 때는 저희가 너무 자신이 있었거든요. 근데 약간 저희 팀에서 T1한테 지면 안 된다는 약간 부담감도 있었던 것 같고, 저희가 못해서 졌다고 생각을 하는데, 리매치에서는 저희가 또 다시 이제 도전하는 입장에서는 다른 팀들도 그렇겠지만 그게 좀 더 잃을 게 없는 약간 그런 것 때문에 더 유리하다고 생각을 해요. 저는. 그리고 한국 팬분들한테 좀 저희가 좀 그렇지 않을까. 저희가 좀 그래도 킥오프도 우승을 했었고 마드리드도 준우승했기 때문에 네, 저희가 좀 더 부담이 되는 것 같습니다. 네.
알겠습니다. So when it comes to the rematch, I agree. I think for us specifically, we were just so confident in the last one. So I think us just performing poorly led to that loss. And now whenever you're coming as that rematch challenger, obviously you have less to lose. So he does think there's less pressure there. And then in front of the Korean fans, I mean, they won kickoff, right? Genji were second place at Madrid as well. So I think we probably feel a bit more pressure as well.
All right, well, that's all we have time for. We definitely have to send you down to your game, so the best of luck to you and the rest of your team today in today's lower finals. So, Solo, thank you very much.
네, 감사합니다.
감사합니다. William didn't translate it, but I think he understood.
Well, yeah, it's all included. It's all included. He also does understand good luck. Come on. He understood that.
Okay.
He understood that.
There was a question I actually wanted to ask him originally, but I managed to catch him backstage. And there's this rumor going around that he makes his players sit in the range on hard mode, and they have to defeat like 30 bots perfectly before he lets them scrim.
It's not true.
It's not true. But why are they so good? I want to know.
Well, first of all, they're very good. But obviously, the rumors stem from just his overall career. Solo's always been very known. I mean, we just recently had other content pieces come out as well. I mean, we had one on VCT Pacific as well on Timeout. He's always been a very, very strict guy who's only focused on winning. And I think he's starting to learn what it's like to be an older figure guiding players. And I think Genji's really figured out that magic a little bit.
Yes, that's right. Now, we do have our first and only matchup for today. It's the two Korean teams, T1 versus Genji, in the lower finals. Let's go over the stage and welcome them.
Yeah, so after the match against Paris, I feel kind of disappointed with our performance because I know we could show a better performance against them. Also, we lost a lot of momentum against that break. I think that's why. When you play, then you not see him as my brother, but more like my enemies. I think the funny story is just that we had a small talk before, like because we both know we already qualified for the Shanghai. Just play for having fun. Don't play really try hard, okay? But I can see today match they really try hard. I don't know why my Dongseng every time he play against me, he always play good.
저희가 마드리드 다녀온 이후에 좀 성적이 안 나와서 많이 힘들었는데 이번에 DRX전을 하기 전에 저희가 좀 마음을 많이 비워두고 해서 오히려 그 부분 때문에 잘 되지 않았나 싶습니다. 0대7로 지고 있을 때 이렇게 질 바에 하고 싶은 거 다 하고 보여줄 거 다 보여주고 지자 차라리 그런 마인드로 했었는데 팀원들이 되게 공격적으로 해주면서 네, 경기 다시 가져왔던 것 같습니다.
Munchkin can do nothing but watch the time dwindle down. T1 take down Gen G and they punch their ticket to Master Shanghai.
I feel really happy because it's our first official match against Gen G, and then we won against them. It's really boosts our motivation a lot and our confidence for our next match. Gen G playstyle, I can say, is kinda similar to Pepper X. For the individual play, they like to taking risks by individual skill, individual player, their biggest strengths.
T1은 다른 팀이랑 게임 해석하는 게 조금 다르다고 생각해요. 되게 어려운 게임을 추구하고 있다라고 생각을 하는데 이번에 T1을 만나보고 느낀 건 그 어렵게 풀어나가는 그 방법을 팀원들이 정말 잘 이해하고 잘 받아들이고 있구나. 진짜 무서운 팀이구나 라고 느꼈던 것 같습니다.
Yeah, I think if you talk about operator, you guys know it's my favorite weapon. If VALORANT don't have Skydog, every skill that can push off operator, I'm gonna be the best player in the world. I'm really confident with operator, I'm not gonna miss guys.
텍스처 선수가 어느 선수를 만나도 오퍼레이터로 밀린다고 생각을 하지 않거든요. 제가 언제든지 지금 좀 오퍼가 필요할 것 같다 라고 하면은 1도 부담 가지지 않고 항상 뽑아주는 선수이기 때문에.
For Gen G, we know we already won 1 time against you guys. For sure, I'm gonna make it 2 times, so everyone think it's not just T1 luck, but it's just T1 skills.
저희가 그래도 나름 디펜딩 챔피언이잖아요. 저희는 다른 팀들한테 꿀린다고 생각하지 않기 때문에 저희는 다시 만나면 질 것 같지 않아요.
T1.
Here is T1, the only team to almost consistently defeat the new giant Gen G. And T1 is looking more decisive than ever, and opponents who hesitate even for a moment during those mid-rounds will find themselves surrounded by the T1 swarm. And at the front of this hornet's nest is T1's IGL, X-Current. And on the opposing side is Gen G, the super soldiers of Pacific, recently toppling DRX. Gen G's raw firepower alone makes them one of the most formidable teams globally. Qualifying for their second Masters event this year, they're looking to complete Stage 1 in a similar victorious fashion. And we got the two teams here. We got Super Offers on one side, and we got Gen G with over 2,000 kills from just 2 of their players alone.
2 of their players who are very capable of taking big duels. I mean, they come into this matchup equipped with Golden Tiger's Claws. That's what it is. You know, they're ready to take that fight up against T1. And T1 really wants to break that 3rd place curse.
Yeah, I mean, I think T1 also just really need this to rise to the top. It always feels like they just barely don't make it. Even last year, they looked like they were on the upswing, and then they started to really crumble when they went to those international events. Now with a new roster, they barely don't make Masters Madrid, and now they finally make the Masters Shanghai. They want to be able to just defeat Gen G confidently 2 times in a row to prove that they deserve to rise as the best Korean team. But Gen G, I mean, even Munchkin talked about it, Solo talked about it. They already took that title once at kickoff. They're not ones to let it slip away, especially after having tasted defeat last week.
T1 has never won a best of 5 yet in Pacific. So you're right, they absolutely want this to be the day where they finally complete that and advance into finals. But Gen G as well, they want to defend their title from kickoff, get back into Shanghai looking stronger than ever.
And this is Munchkin up against his old team, up against his old coaches, right? At the beginning of the year, we heard that they had a difference in direction that they wanted to take. So far, Munchkin has led this new squad under new coaching to an absolutely beautiful international grand final. He does not want to fall to it this time again.
All right, we're going to go into our very first map of today, Lotus. It's going to be a long night, boys. Let's go over to our casters, Paper Thin and Achilleos.
Thank you very much. Yes, it's almost time to dive into the action. We have Lotus to kick things off, a map that we did not get to see between these two teams when T1 was able to take down Gen G. That time it made it over onto the ban list. This time Gen G, they leave it available.
Yeah, this is really interesting because two of the maps that we saw the last time these two teams played is not going to be in the pool. So it's going to be a really interesting battle to see with all this extra time they've had to prepare since last week, you know, what they've been cooking, what they've been able to come up with, what kind of problems they've been able to address. I'm really curious about Gen G in particular. They looked a little flat last week. Yeah, they came back and beat DRX, but it looked like they weren't going to. I mean, they were getting blown out of the water and eventually were able to muster some big performances in the second half.
Well, we've been seeing quite a bit of the same from T1,
what?
But now a full pivot. Across the board, double duelist coming through as Saya player moves over onto the Neon, something that we've been seeing crop up a little bit more primarily from Governor over on Talon, but Izu now playing the Raze and Xcurate going over to the Omen.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever seen Xcurate on the Omen before here in Pacific. He's played it one time in a match somewhere years ago, but this is a really interesting lineup. I mean, Izu, we know he can play Raze. We've seen it on Split. We know that I think T1 wants to try to lean into his firepower, something that everybody talks about here in Pacific. You know, Rossi has been really good on the initiators as of late, so curious to see how his breach is going to look, but this is wildly different than what T1 has run before, and it's even a little bit different than what Heretics run or the other teams, or even Zeta when they use the Neon on this map.
Right.
You know, you don't have a Sentinel in here, so this is going to require good rotations, good communication, good coordination, and those flashes from Xcurate, Rossi, and Carpe are going to have to be super successful to back Izu up. I mean, yeah, Saya, he's got the Neon, he's got the relay bolts, he can do his own thing, but this is going to be wild.
It absolutely is a major shift here, but not from the team we were expecting it from. T1 completely swapping up the composition on their map pick of Lotus. It's been their bread and butter. Let's see if that continues with all these swaps as we get into the action for game number 1 here in this lower bracket final. As both of these squads seek their spot in the grand final alongside Paper Rex tomorrow.
Starting on the attacker side is T1. Stacking up towards A, giving him a lot of space is Gen G. No Rebel contention really to be found. Just going to use that Viper wall to maybe try to hit them after giving up that space. Let's see exactly how Gen G wants to approach this. You don't have any flashes of your own. Both flashes are over on C, so for Gen G, some good shooting is what we're going to require.
So far, tap on the door, the entry coming through. Okay, across here as Inchels do go flying. Izu now sending his over towards stairs. Izu going to be taken down as Carpe able to find one back. Munchkin eliminated. As for now, it's just going to be that 1-for-1, but HP bars whittled away at here on the side of T1. Texture with a great shot, able to find one.
Enemy remaining.
Back across, Carpe coming up with another. See, it is a bloody back and forth. Yes, the audio seemingly off for us at least, but the Meteor will be able to find that last kill and get the defuse. The pistol round's going to be going the way of Gen G, tempering that aggression here that we're seeing from T1 off the rip.
Yeah, it looked like this was a full-on just A execute for the side of T1, and this is the Gen G you're kind of hoping to see is good trades, good reactions. You know, everybody's fast to rotate over and really shut this round down. See Media there getting just ahead of the Paranoia. Texture a real nuisance on the back of sight. Does get cleared, but immediately the trade is there from Karon, and this is one of the hallmarks of this Gen G team during their run at kickoff and at Madrid is their exceptional trading, their quickness to respond to what their opponents are doing, especially in situations like that. So 3 Guardians, so many players, so good. It's that Guardian. Munchkin not going to be one of them. He's actually grabbing the Bulldog. Usually his calling card is that Guardian, but this time around, opting for the Bulldog as him and Meteor on this C site. Only the turret to play off of. No nanos at the front. The alarm bot and the nano put over towards B. Instead, going to rely on Munchkin's snake bites here to try to slow up T1's hit.
Everything slowing now down to a crawl. A Saya player inching his way forward. 2 just around the corner. Single blast pack here for Izu if he wants to go for the entry. Let's have that frenzy in hand. Now Munchkin just waiting. Snake bite at the ready. See if they spot anything out. Clear on the haunt. Not telling them much here so far, as Snakebite now going to be coming through. Munchkin just suspecting a bit of a timing. Prowler to check, will get cleared out.
Now they're really taking their time with this as T1, trying to identify the positions of Gen.G before they let the util fly. Trailblazer doesn't get much info. Texture now waiting as the rotate comes through.
Texture avoiding getting stunned up. He's trying to drag across. Eventually he is able to find Saya player. Looks for a second. Will be able to find it. His return fire is there from Izu, but that's about as good as it's gotten so far. 65 HP remaining on him as the paint shells explode right in front of him. And swing on the corner. Texture will be able to claim a third with that headshot. Picks up a Sheriff, and it's going to be a 2-0 start here for Gen.G, only losing one player in the anti-bonus. Or anti-eco, I should say.
Yeah, it's a pretty good hold here from Gen.G. Good job, not giving up any information, understanding the util timings, avoiding really giving T1 much info and forcing them to rotate over into that crossfire on the B, shutting it down pretty quickly. So nice attempt by the slide in, but a good flash there. Able to keep Texture from taking too much damage. Meteor slides in to help as well. Oh, Texture never change. Please, he's so animated, no matter what's going on. They're contesting Rubble this time.
Well, that they are. Texture able to come away with one. A Saya player gets taken down. Izu decayed down a bit, but damage also found. He's able to stabilize that spray to find Texture. Cleans up that kill with Rossi, now forced back, taken low. Lakia finding one, but returning fire here is looking decent as Execute's able to claim two, and now it's just Meteor. Just that Sheriff in hand. Here, double TPs his way forward here onto the side. Some heals coming across as Carpe tries to get Rossi back up to a decent position. But there's an instant headshot. Meteor find the first, the double face will get them the round win, but 3 players lost here. T1, they will deny the bonus conversion, but at some cost.
Yeah, I like the change up here from Gen.G. We haven't seen them be aggressive at the beginning of the rounds, and on their bonus, they decide, hey, let's go for it. You're going to get Texture, the showstopper, off of this round as well, which is a great addition to the success that they found in terms of taking 3 guns away, so not a bad bonus at all for the side of Gen.G. T1, though, not bad. Able to turn it up, able to get those trades going against the slightly weaker buy for Gen.G. Now with the Odin in hand for Lakia over on A, it's going to be a pivot towards the C site here for T1. Leaving Excurate behind on that Omen, trying to clear some of that KJ utility, only able to find one of the nanos.
Storming their way forward, Munchkin trying to hold the line here, and he does! Shuts down both the duelists here on T1 as they try to get their way around Ben. Peek onto the side, quick spot there on Carpe. He's unable to find that kill. Headshot comes through, so Munchkin does fall. Carpe finding a second, trying to get the third. Can't quite make it happen. Gen.G will be able to have a very swift shutdown set up for there by Munchkin.
Yeah, I mean, Munchkin just so prepared here. Right behind the pillar, not really caught too much by any of that early util. Doing a good job dodging that, making him pay the price. The tempo here has been really fast for T1. Dodging the fault line as well as Munchkin. Really well done. But, I mean, T1 here is just really putting their foot on the gas pedal. They are absolutely just not kind of messing around too much other than on the eco round. This time, though, going to be on a much weaker buy. Seeker's there. Maybe something tricky with that Omen TP. We'll see. But for now, just want to get that orb, get Izu one closer to his showstopper, one away. This time, Nano a little bit further up close as we see another setup. But this time, they're just going to start pushing in right away. That one-way gives away so much info.
And it does. Just spotting out the leg. Meteor able to take him down. Munchkin now gripping forward. Snappy with the headshot up over the top, and Rossi just does not have the read whatsoever. Taken down as Izu tucked away, flushed out. Lakia with the Odin is able to find him as the Flawless comes through. Gen.G now out 4-1.
This is really interesting from Gen.G. They're playing a little bit further back on this C site, and Munchkin in particular is giving them some fits. And this is, of course, a weaker buy for T1, but still not really able to ever fire back. They don't even fire a bullet by the time 2-3 of them are down. And they got to find a way to address that. So you're going to need to get some of that util a little bit deeper onto that site. That's where Munchkin's been holding. You have to clear that back area by the stairs. Make sure that that's open. Yes, you're clearing some of those nanos and other KJ utility at the front, but there's another layer to this Gen.G defense that's going to have to be accounted for if you're going to make these C-site hits work.
Early but very necessary timeout call here from the T1 camp. Autumn wanting to intervene. clearly something in the game plan to set up the idea that they had pivoting over to this composition. It's not being brought to fruition. So wants to be able to get in there, get into the heads of the players, and get the course correction going. Because so far, I mean, we're not seeing the impact really at all from this Neon nor the Breach. Two things that should be working incredibly well in conjunction with one another currently have found no value whatsoever. 0-5, 0-4 for those two players respectively.
Precisely. This is of Saya's agent pool. Neon has been historically his weakest agent. If you look at the stats, it's the one that he has struggled on the most. And the relay bolts in particular are what I'm looking for from Saya to start landing. Obviously with Rossi, some of those fault lines not hitting the mark. That's more of a strategy and a prep thing.
Gen G, full rush out of C. T1 going to be hearing this pretty soon. The other two players going to rotate back through into B to try to give them some cause for concern over the A side, but T1 already occupying quite a bit of forward space, but they are surrounded, so they're going to be fighting on all fronts.
Look at these nanos. Unexpected positions from these. Going to force T1 back into the corner. Should be able to get the plant down, but they're all going in towards stairs in heaven here for Gen G.
I think they actually kind of need to do this because this reason right here, the lockdown is going to be coming through, but not forward enough to try to clear this one out. Showstopper is available, but Izu looking like he's not just going to go ahead and send it. It does get cleared out, in fact. So cleanup is there. Carpe now trying to hold the top rope. Ends up getting taken down. Texture punch the opener. Meteor finding another one as Execute tries to strike from behind, but they just hit it back. They lose one player. Rossi gets himself on the board, but is quickly traded out. Munchkin finds that kill, and now it's Izu. And 1v2, Showstopper at the ready. Wants to just go ahead, short send it. He'll clean up both. Gen G clearly not respecting or not reading that he was going to just be popping that ultimate here. They end up both getting taken down, and Izu is able to clutch it out for T1.
Yeah, that looked like it was going to be a pretty solid round for Gen G, but they just kind of forgot about the Showstopper is really what that boils down to. He pops it. They're both right there. Maybe just expecting that the Showstopper would go a little bit deeper and the other player could swing the corner and trade for it, but this is what it is. Nice response here by Izu and T1. Maybe that's going to be that start that they need to really get firing on this map, especially with this comp. I would expect this to be an attacker's-sided comp for sure, and given the map as well, you would think that this is where they're going to be doing quite a bit of their damage, but you do have some retake utility for the side of Gen G. You have the Nightfall. You have the Viper's Pit potentially. There's a Rolling Thunder for T1, and giving up a lot of space is Gen G, kind of respecting that. A little bit of KJ util here on A, but they're just waiting for this utility to get used and then trying to figure out what they're going to do on the back of that. But T1 wisely doesn't like what they see here. Something's giving it away. They're going to back off. Or at least fake like they're backing off.
A little bit of spray exchanged here, but no damage to be found quite just yet. Saya positioned just outside here of Baby Door. Now rotating around. Heavy presence from Gen G over this A site. Can quick pivot into B. Looks like that's where T1 is going to look to try to end up. Is right as that smoke starts dropping. Just a hair off on that spray, finding some damage there onto Rossi. One sent down, smoke off there onto upper.
30 seconds left.
Another sees as Haunt goes up over the top. It's a reveal on the one. Carpe lucky to come away with his life. Haunt now at the ready. Hit to work his way through the door over by C-Link. He is out into multiple players, but Munchkin going to be taken down. Carpe able to hold the door, finds that kill. Pit now drop. Media, however, is equalizing. Finds one. Karon now picking up two. Tap onto the spike, and Execute can't even find the first. Karon will clean up 3 kills as Gen G not going to be allowing for T1 to string multiple rounds together.
I like the ideas here from T1, spreading the map a little bit more, kind of sensing that A was a bit of a trap and backing off, and then sending a few players out. You send Carpe and Execute to look for a potential flank or anything like that, see what space is open. They confirm that B is open, they go there. But Rossi playing so up close after the Nightfall comes through, never opts to respond with his Rolling Thunder. I thought that would be a good opportunity to maybe buy a little bit of time from that big ult invested by Gen G, but he's going to hang on to it for another round. And Saya does have his overdrive here for this eco. Or T1, let's see if we can find some value out of it. Trying to push the tempo.
Don't need to. Tap on the door. Meteor just trying to escort it forward. He says, yes, come on in. The door's wide open. Pushes him right back out. Well, approach is still committed to here, but just sprinting across that nano swarm. Damage taken. HP bar so very low, and then it's just cleaned up. Meteor able to find 3 more here. It's another flawless for Gen G. 6-2 now. A very strong start from Gen G on this defender side with no realistic end in sight for the suffering of T1.
Yeah, I mean, again, Saya player trying to do a lot here with this Neon, and there's not much nuance to it, is what I was trying to say. You don't have any util that's kind of bothering some of these site holders for Gen G. And credit to Gen G, that means they're doing a good job reading where this util might be coming, and they're dodging it pretty well. Not having seen this comp, Gen G's really got a good read.
There's Texture freaking out in the background. Just shaking his arm crazily and shrieking like a banshee.
Like I said, never change Texture.
Yep. I mean, hey, he's got all the reason to behave that way right now. They are absolutely crushing. Paranoia comes through. Munchkin just trying to go ahead and segregate the teams a little bit more, trying to cut them off. Boombot distracts Meteor for a brief little moment. He's still adjusting to find the headshot. He and Lockie, however, traded out, but Munchkin still standing firmly. Still shutting down these approaches. Texture gets a quick drag across. Tries to slide forward. Execute will get that punish. Now it's going to be the 1v1. Head spotted. Execute not reading it, not seeing it. And Carrot is able to get him in the end. There is a couple pixels out of place, but Execute just a little bit too dialed in on one angle. Ends up missing the opportunity. Cannot get the clutch. 7-2, Gen G continue to work their way towards a map 1 victory.
And this round, it's a little bit different here for Gen G in that these mollies and other util just completely stymie this T1 Execute. They slow it up and it buys so much time for everyone to rotate in and start doing what Gen G does best, and that's trading off of you. And it's just so nicely thought out here by Gen G and company. The nano swarms are well placed. Snake bites are well placed for Munchkin. This time around, though, that's going to be right at Meteor's feet. He's going to have to jump up on the box. Takes a little bit of damage. Munchkin going to be able to respond here.
Trailblazer spotted him. He's got to relocate now. Goes rotating out. Yep, aftershock committed. There is the Rolling Thunder now going to come through, but Showstopper out the door. Texture takes down Rossi. Side player dead as Meteor still was able to find one. Izu with a stinger. The only kill they're able to find so far is that one. Picks up a weapon, is able to find a headshot eventually there on a Munchkin, but eats quite a bit of damage. He and Carpe now fully committed, fully stuck forward here onto the site. And they get flushed out. Texture shows up to clean up. Another 3K. As the multi-kills have been absolutely astounding so far in this map for the side of Gen G. They now are up 8-2.
I mean, you can just see that Gen G is so ready for these quick hits. And the Rolling Thunder, the response, open the door and pop the Showstopper. You know, I think Meteor even dodges the Rolling Thunder on C site anyway. So everybody's so mentally prepared here for Gen G. It is just a beautiful, beautiful half for them. And again, you know, an unexpected comp, not bothering them, not fettering them. Stingers abound for T1 all across the board. One away from a couple, from one ult, two away from Izu's Showstopper. Just looking to see if maybe you can get something set up for that next round potentially, or who knows, maybe sneak one away, but Meteor's got another lockdown. Kind of complicate matters potentially, and you know, if he feels the need to, might as well invest it. Only 2 more rounds and a half.
Yeah, I mean, he's just been going crazy.
Yeah.
15-5-4 at the moment. Tap onto the door. Yep, just wanting to bait out some
So
of that util. Wisely done here. Knowing what the setup is going to be, but Meteor still expecting the aggression, is in position to go ahead and just send the lockdown. Says, you're not coming into this site. Buys time for the rest of Gen G to now get stacked up in behind T1. Rossi, not necessarily suspecting a Texture, eventually able to clean it up as Meteor just through the smoke, able to find another. Prowler chasing forward, catching Izu with a bit of util in hand to slow him up as he's up over the top. Trying to lock somebody in place. Meteor, oh my god, they are just shoulder to shoulder. Taps on the one, looks for it, can't quite drag across. Saya able to win that one. Izu, a bit of a disjointed entry there. Blast packs his way in, but now he's all on his lonesome. Trying to get the plant down, will be able to do so. Trying to pre-fire the angle, but can't clean up the kill. Just one casualty again here for Gen G, as they will now move up 9-2. Looking for that 10-2 starting half on the defense. Gen G still having fun with it.
If you want to be half glass full here for T1, they're going to have the Showstopper in the next round. And some other ultimates, the Seekers as well, I believe. So, but still, everybody on Gen G reading this so well. I mean, Meteor playing this so smart, using that lockdown to buy time for those flanks to come in. And again, there hasn't been much trickery to what T1's doing. They're trying to rely on those big death volley executes with this comp, which makes sense, but
I was curious about this. I mean, it feels so bad because you don't want to have to commit both of those timeouts in that first half, but just given the circumstances, given that this is, I mean, a very necessary round win to try to close out the half, you have these ults coming online. Autumn does decide to intervene once more. But that is it as far as his control is concerned. He's pushing them out of the nest from here on out. Will they fly?
We will see. It's not looking great. I am a bit concerned, and you know, like we highlighted earlier in the map, still haven't seen a ton of impact, you know, from those initiators. It's just everybody on Gen G seems so aware of the space that they can give up and how to maneuver their utility. It seems like Meteor's always in the right place at the right time. He is just absolutely just constantly in position where T1 is going to hit, and he is making it so difficult. His nano swarms are really well placed to buy time for the rest of his team. If he has to, he's got a lockdown to use as well in that previous round. So this is
right there.
So smart from Meteor. He is absolutely having one of the best halves of his life.
Just been indomitable at the moment. Again, approach here on towards this A side. Gen G just making the call. They say, yeah, they're not really playing with any subtlety. They're not really pivoting too much. Let's just go ahead and full send it over. Showstopper up the top will get some damage across onto Munchkin, but kill not found from Azizu. Just can't get into position fast enough. Ends up getting taken down. Fast lane set up. Still going to use that against them here as Meteor goes creeping forward. Execute now. Gets himself over into the back. Just doesn't have audio. He can't hear a damn thing. Rawlsey will come away with one last kill. That timeout, unfortunately, here for the side of T1 is not going to get them that third round win. They now need to pull off a DRX versus Billy if they want to be able to win on this map.
Yeah. Cards are stacked against them, for sure. And Gen G just looking so in control of everything. I mean, again, those nanos causing so many problems there on the entry. Showstopper dodged. It did a little bit of damage, but not much to Lakia. He was able to get back far enough. And T1 fans hoping for a T1 T1 win, of course. But oh, got a little Carpe
got the
cartoon down there, and that that's so good.
That is adorable.
Texture. Oh my god, it's so cute.
It is, but it's also borderline horrific because it does just look like an eyeless face. It's just some map on top. This eldritch horror from a Guillermo del Toro film or something. No, but they are great. Hopefully some of the fans will start giving us some mimicked reactions as well.
Yeah, we need you guys to put the signs down and mimic those
your
cartoons.
best impersonation.
Yeah, exactly. Show us your texture impersonation.
Well, Texture and Meteor, the duo that we've been so often talking about for Gen G throughout this year, having a whale of a time. 17, 16, 6 deaths each, respectively.
And look at the other three. They've all got a ton of assists, so everybody's getting involved. You know, the util has been fantastic across the board. The reactions have been great from Gen G. But again, T1 really going for that fast-paced, aggressive style and just not able to compete with Gen G's ability to sort of absorb that pressure and then throw it right back in your face. This time around, though, look at them. They're expecting it. It's been such a high-octane first half. They're just waiting in spawn. They're like, certainly they're going to push with this comp. Like, certainly.
I think the thing that they need to take into consideration is just how beaten and battered T1 have been. So I don't think that they really want to put themselves into too many positions where they are the ones, trying to go on the offensive. It wasn't working for them at all on the attack. Why should they want to even try it on the defense?
For sure. I mean, absolutely, T1 needs to try something different. And seems like they're setting up a little bit of a trap here.
But look at this read from Gen G. They're leaving a lurk from Munchkin. He's going to go ahead and spot. That'll confirm some presence, which really will keep T1 tied towards this side of the map even longer as the rest of the team continues to inch their way forward onto that C site. So this very well could end up being a full-on just 5v5 attempted retake unless Munchkin comes away with something here on this lurk, or if T1 are able to flush him out. They creep forward. It's completely empty, and they're just now figuring this out. The read is absolute perfection here from the side of Gen G. Paranoia sent Munchkin, hearing this movement. There's somebody forward. As now T1 aware of the situation that they are in.
Yeah, this is going to be really tough here. They're setting up for another big execute, but Meteor already ahead of it. Can't get shots to land.
That's going to be a Sheriff picked up. Trailblazer sent. Brief little delay there on that one as Karen just backpedaling, setting up the smoke. Spot side player, he eats some damage though. It's Lakia. Able to shove him back into waterfall a little bit faster. Karen now, up against this smoke. It's getting spotted out, taken down. Decent return fire here from the side of T1. Paint shell sent from Texture, trying to delay. Next year at 32, Munchkin, he's gotten himself all the way in behind. Oh, they're not going to read this one at all. There's a headshot now. They're so far forward. They're hunting for Texture, thinking that their diffuser was going to be safe, but there is no safety found whatsoever for T1. It doesn't matter where they tuck away, where they try to take their fights. Gen G are prepared at every twist and turn. A 4K from Texture in the pistol round. Just go ahead and get them one step closer to taking down this Lotus map.
And what I love about this round, Achilleos, is that this is different than what we saw the last time these two teams played. Munchkin wasn't doing a lot of lurking. He wasn't doing a lot of these wide flanks and trying to set up fakes that he does in this round. He's using his util. He even throws the poison cloud there into stairs on A to really sell that they're going to see. They weren't doing much of that. A lot of their fakes were being attempted to be sold by Lakia. So this is a very different look for T1, and they don't get the correct read off of it. So I like this change from Gen G.
It's just been borderline immaculate from them so far. So fault line will get the clip in on Texture, but full flash connecting, Munchkin tucking back behind Tree. Does manage to stay alive. Really bold to try and dissuade. The reposition here from T1. Excrit down to 39. Heals are available from Carpe, but he'd have to get all the way over towards that A site. Gen G applying some pressure towards that side of the map, but widely now starting to drift their way over towards C once again.
Yeah, you can see that T1 reading that this might be a double pump, as there hasn't been much contact anywhere. Meteor just scraping a little bit with X-Curate. Right around this corner, could be tricky.
Rossi spotting one relay ball. Up in front of it is Texture. He's able to find Carpe side, takes him down. Rossi with a nice little trade out though. Does manage to equalize the count. 3v3 with both Omens tagged low.
Left.
Weapons in recoverable position. Side player already scooping up that Phantom. Could be a big boon here for them as Gen G just going to go ahead and start stomping their way across over towards that C side of the map, which is opened up. T1 not able to leave X-Curate there. Too risky to have him solo challenge. Prowler to scout forward. 12 seconds remaining. Paranoia sent, spots one, but responding Paranoia doesn't even have to hit him. Meteor will just be able to take him down. 5 seconds to spare as that plant comes through. Saya with this Phantom needs to find value, but the angle is being held. Karan with the Outlaw in hand just looks to shut this down. Take it right back, and he will. The headshot is found. Over the corner, Rossi knowing he needs to try to close the distance, but he is not given the opportunity. Meteor will find the final kill of the round as Gen G are looking to just complete a 13-2 dominant showing here on Lotus.
Yeah, this is a pretty good read here from T1. Of course it had to be a force buy. You don't have any choice when you lose the pistol after a 10-2 first half. Got to go for something. And the Outlaw, such a good investment regardless of how much impact it found, because you know that your opponent is likely to be forcing. They're not going to be able to get full armors. You could find so much value. T1 has to play really cautious, but they read the map well. They're able to guess that it's going to be the double pump back towards A. Now the Outlaw out in the open, but catching that full flash and the stun as well.
Fault line connects. Yeah, they are able to go ahead and collapse onto him, so it will be an Outlaw picked up here, potentially for the side of T1. They decide to leave it on the ground. They know that they're going to need have some weaponry that's going to be a little bit more run and gun. Munchkin creeping forward into stairs, though. Man, just jeez, so snappy today. Finds X-Curate. Omen now eliminated, and they're going to take a lot of forward presence up here on top rope. Texture ending up getting taken down. Smoke comes out from Karan. He wants to try to go ahead and maybe even re-challenge into the same location. Hooks back instead beside the wall. Himself protected for the time being. Izu swinging into that smoke, taken down as Karan finds himself a second. Looks to put them down, and he will.
Attackers win.
Another 3K from the rookie controller here on Gen G to close things out. It's a dominant showing from Gen G. Whether or not they were surprised by the composition put together here by T1, we could not tell.
It didn't seem to matter. Not phased at all and thinking on their feet incredibly well were Gen G. In firm control of this map from start to finish. Unbelievable stuff.
That it was. Well, it hasn't been too long since they were talking, so we'll go ahead and send it right back over to the analyst desk. Hey, welcome back, guys.
Thank you, casters.
Wow.
First map, Lotus. That was not T1. We all predict, including you viewers, for T1 to take that, and I changed things a little bit, or a lot of it. And Gen G end up dominating that map.
Yes. Listen, I mean, the comments, so we can get to that later, right? But obviously, Gen G, not shaken by it. Like the caster said, they weren't thrown off. I would actually say, if anything, they identified very quickly how to play against it. Things like the relay boat, things like the fault lines. And, oh man, all 5 players. What? Maybe that rumor you said earlier is right. Maybe Solo does force them to sit in, the range and get 30 on hard mode, because they were snappy today.
I believe it. I fully believe that, because you take a look at some of those highlights and you can see how snappy they are, how sharp they are with some of these flicks, and how prepared they were for that hit. I mean, it was a little bit surprised. I feel like I just sat back down in the green room, came back here and sat down right quick again, because it's just as fast as T1 made this pick. Gen G instantly knew how to break it. Like, so much credit to the setups that they had, or even how Meteor played that Killjoy. The nanostorms were always activated at the right times to foil the entire advance from T1, and Munchkin was just able to frag out.
Yeah, I mean, Munchkin was on point today. Yes, he's had some shaky games in the past, but Munchkin was absolutely on point today. I mean, everybody. I mean, you look at the score lines, you look at all the numbers. I don't think we've seen an average ACS this high in any match.
Karen only died 3 times.
Yeah. I mean, these guys were everywhere. They were fragging. I mean, Kieran doesn't even have that many kills comparatively, right? Because everyone, Texture and Meteor was just farming for the entire thing. And even in the previous screen, I think that stat sheet tells the entire game. The fact that Gen G only played 3 attacking rounds and they still had more post-plant wins than T1 just lets you know something went horribly wrong, because quite frankly, in my head, this comp that T1 played is a better version of Paper Rex's Breach comp. It has the Neon instead of the Jet, so now you've still got a wall that you can use similar to Viper's wall. You can use it once, right? You have more stuns, you have more agency, so I think the theory is good, but the execution was, I'm sorry T1, but poor.
Yeah. Fully flawed. I mean, we're going to take a look at some of these in the highlights pretty soon, but you can see there were moments where they were just kind of trying to rush in, but they got blocked off, or even trying to go for some of these trades. They couldn't make it happen against Gen G, because Gen G was just so sharp at shooting them down. Even when Saya tries to, neon slide in, it doesn't just quite work out. The only few rounds that T1 actually won was thanks to some, individual heroics we just saw with Izu and that showstopper. And honestly, that's a little bit lucky. The fact that you managed to get it at the right time, the sensing to, go for it works, but it's not quite enough to give them enough wins. They need more than just a little bit of neon movement. They need the whole team to come up with a fully planned execute in order to make this composition work.
Yeah, I think what we basically saw was, obviously the idea is good. Like I said, I really like the comp, and I think they should continue to try to build on this comp in the future, especially with upcoming patches. However, it just seemed not all 5 players were entirely on board with what does the pacing actually entail, what does the tempo entail, and then you could tell that because once they lost, to Munchkin a couple of times, to Texture a couple of times, you started to see them play a little bit more scared, right? Not willing to sacrifice themselves to create more angles, not willing to take some of those duels. You saw Saya crouch peeking out as a neon, things like that. Yeah, it's very rough, and I think the comfort maybe just wasn't quite there yet. But I will say, just future-proofing wise, I think this is a composition and a team to look forward to in the future, but they don't have much time today because it's just one best of 5.
That's right, and I think you're absolutely right. With a comp like that, it's very interesting, but you need to be very aggressive, and the moment you start doubting yourself, the moment you hesitate, you get scared, it does not work, and we saw it so clearly there. Now, Icebox. We haven't seen any Icebox from T1. Maybe they'll be cooking something again here. Do you think they can come back from that first map, Quack?
They have to, Victoria. I don't know what else to say. I mean, that was such a quick map. I don't think any of us, including the audience, expected for that to happen. I mean, the composition was really surprising. I don't know if it's going to be a surprising composition on Icebox here as well, but they have to make it work. They have to make it happen. I'm honestly a little bit shaken due to the, confidence as well. Coming in from that interview that we had with Coach Solo, Gen G is really prepared for Icebox as well. So no matter what composition is being thrown at them, I feel like this is a Gen G that's incredibly prepared for today's matches.
I think this, though, is a good opportunity for T1 to really prove themselves. I think Gen G has proven time and time again, even at Masters Madrid, that they are a mentally very, very strong team. They have the endurance. They will battle through. They will grind it out all the way to the end. So if T1 can do the same, right? Just forget about it. Move on, right? It was a tough map. Yeah, we prepped something. It didn't work, whatever. We don't have time to think about that right now. We'll talk about that next week. We focus on what we prepped for Icebox. If you can prove that you can bounce back, at the end of the day, win or lose, now more fans will have more hope going into Shanghai, knowing that you have the mental endurance to grind through some of these tougher matches.
Well, hope you had the mental endurance, Quack, for our guess and gain.
I really
We've been
don't anymore.
V-ranked by 2.
I have nothing.
We just started.
There really does need to be a punishment for D-ranking double from Iron, in my opinion.
We were talking about penalties like push-ups and then I don't know what, but yeah, so here we oh, you're already an Iron.
Oh, forget it. It's just
You're terrible at this game. I should not vote with you. Well, I go down to bronze.
I go down to
This
Iron.
is double, right?
Yeah, everything's double.
You go up double and
What? No, I go down double. I voted for T1 on the map.
Oh, you
it's
did?
It's only Achilles, Paper Thin, and Valdez that move up.
Oh yes, we're all playing now.
Yes.
Everyone's
Everybody moves down
Oh,
two, except for Achilles.
I'm gonna move you guys a little bit closer here. 2 up here,
Yep, there you go.
and
Mika moves down two.
all right.
Asteroid moves down two.
Oh, good job.
Wait, where was he? Oh god.
He was on Diamond.
Thank
he was on
you.
Diamond.
Thank you.
There you go.
Okay.
Wingman
gold.
moves down two, and Valdez
And
moves
Valdez
down
just
two.
goes above and beyond.
Oh no, Valdez moves up. Yeah,
Sorry,
actually.
past
He is
Radiant.
now the Mr. Guess and Gain.
He's the gain, man.
Gains.
He's the gains. Valdez gains. Yeah. So, don't worry, it doesn't end here because we got 5 maps. I don't know if we're going to do all 5 at this rate. But map 2 is Icebox. What is your prediction for map 2?
Oh boy.
Listen.
It's just already
Listen,
okay. Why not?
I mean, not only I thought T1. I think T1 leaving Icebox open is good, but Solo said they've been grinding it for a week, and their Icebox already looked pretty decent at the beginning of the year. So.
And you don't get dinner unless you finish your range practice and your Icebox grinding, which is why I am also going to go with Gen G.
What? Now we just all look like
Gen G.
bandwagoners. Don't you guys have... What is going on? I thought you two had faith in T1 going into today.
Wait, I do. Well...
You just think it's going to be a tougher game, yeah? Are we looking for the 3-2? Is that what's going on here?
Yes.
Oh, you're looking for the reverse
I
sweep?
really thought it was going to be a T1 Lotus and then a little bit of a Gen G like wave there and then T1 comes back at the end. But I don't know anymore. But for right now, for Icebox, I'm picking Gen G. So I like your theories as to why. How about you, Quack?
I mean, similar reasons. I mean, well, William was actually really talking up T1 with that Icebox, leaving it open. That gave me a little bit of confidence, but then seeing how this played out, I feel like they're just not quite prepared yet. I don't know if 1 week is enough for them to come in strong on an Icebox against a Gen G that's just that strong, that sharp.
But what if T1 plays the Neon again?
Oh god,
even
no,
on Icebox.
not an Icebox.
Maybe a Clove.
Get out.
No, a little Jet Neon. Some Challengers Japan enjoyers out there will know exactly what I'm talking about.
Hey, I gotta
a little
imagine...
Jet Neon double dive.
I don't know. That's what I want to see.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
Reyna. Okay, but here's the thing. I usually hate Reyna on Icebox, mostly because people just pair it with the Jet because they don't know what else to play. However, you're giving up on the dive, you're going for longer range, you're focusing a lot on your defense, and you still got things like the drone, you still got things like the Viper touch screen to work with the Lear.
Oh my god.
Reyna in and of herself is actually not terrible on Icebox. It's usually the composition that's the issue.
But I mean, that's the thing. What does this composition look like? Like, you're just a solo Reyna. Your Lear is not supported by anything else apart from perhaps.
But even if you have the Jet, the thing is if you're going with double or triple Sentinel, that Jet was never the crux of the victory, right? That was just to gain maybe a little space on yellow, right? Something like that. So at the end of the day, you're approaching the site with things like the wall, with things like the toxic screen, and then the drone. The Lear can still work with the drone. It can still work with the toxic screen. I think it's got legs.
And you got Execute Chamber as well.
Yeah, I mean, extra on chamber is always a good sign for T1. Anyway, let's go over Caceres, Achilles, and Paper Thin. Isn't this crazy?
That's one word for it. I think you could definitely describe it as that. Sire player, it's worth noting, has never played Reyna in his professional career until today. He's played a total of 6, now 7 agents. And somehow, Reyna was never one of them.
I mean, you know, it's tough because Reyna is like more of a pocket pick for some of our players, you know. See it from something sometimes, yeah. But for the side of Saya player to debut it here in a lower finals, I mean, T1 has clearly been trying to cook. Didn't look great on Lotus. Let's see if on Icebox it is going to be a different story as they start on the attacker side again.
Ooh.
Texture, though, caught a glimpse, I think, of Rossi there.
Oh, yeah,
saw
the ponytail there for sure. There's a swing out. Oh my God, it's 2 quick kills. This Texture collecting those. Rossi will be able to go ahead and trade one back, takes him down, but 3 members lost in the blink of an eye here for the side of T1. Creep across here from Izu. Meteor pulls off the angle. There's the turret though, take contact, so now he knows that there's at least a quick little glimpse around the corner. But what do you do from here if you're T1?
You're just hoping you can maybe catch a lurking player there as Izu and then make this a little bit easier in the post plant. Rossi going to try to re-aggress towards Nest, but so far Genji happy to wait this out. 0 points going to catch them both.
Okay, are able to find Munchkin. And
okay.
Lakia, already previously tagged up, does end up falling. He'll not available until now, as that null was out. So Rossi able to go ahead and heal himself back up, swing onto the corner, as Meteor actually able to stabilize that spray, but Charon will arrive just in time to go ahead and finish the job. So Easy going to be taken down, Sheriff going to be carried forward, and Spike not planted, so extra bit of cred's not going to be found here for T1.
Yeah, kudos to T1 for being aware that on the plant that Genji was going to get aggressive on it, but this angle just not accounted for. Texture gets a couple freebies there. That just completely spirals around out of control for T1. Almost able to pull it back with some heroics, but at the end of the day, just too many players at Genji for them to deal with. Marshall for Texture, Guardians for Lakia and Munchkin, and Meteor. So we'll be looking for these long angle hits. T1 once again trying to make their way in towards A. I was going to say one of the advantages that T1 could have here is that they have a lot of post-plant help with that Sage wall, whereas Genji, you know, no Harbor, no Sage, kind of deal with some of those setups after the fact. But right now, I mean, Genji just looks so dialed in.
Drone spotting a decent amount, but X here just trying to swing out. Over on Belt, struck down. His Saya player lurking forward, able to find the headshot there. Texture going to be taken down. Is he up over the top? Saya, they are aware of his position here as he's desperately trying to find an angle, but it's going to be Lakia collecting a 3rd kill, currently on for a potential ace. He's going to be able to find the 4th one. Izu finding it. Can the ace come to fruition? No. Charon will take down Izu, saying, yeah, I don't want us to lose any more weapons, guys. Let me just go ahead and finish the job here since you're all tagged up. 4K, though, as the Thrash is now online going into the bonus round. Genji start things off 2-0 once again.
Yeah, and you're keeping those 3 Guardians. The biggest part of the equation for sure for Genji, and we know how good they are with them. Obviously, it's against an eco, but
can I get
snappy as always.
Can I?
Oh, God. My stapler.
Can I get ace? No? My stapler?
That adds some Office Space energy to it. Well, strong start all the same here for Genji. Rossi going to be spotted. Texture, though, having to back away as the drone comes up over the top. Nia player looking to take some space, and Lakia forced back, takes quite a bit of damage. The Texture able to find the headshot through that Viper wall now. Munchkin in a 4th position, looking for more. Collects himself a 2nd elimination. His Texture will go down next year. Cannot do more damage. Bonus is converted. Genji start 3-0 here on Icebox.
I mean, it's just so nasty what Genji's able to accomplish off these forward positions from Texture. Even though he doesn't get any kills, he gets a ton of info and can dash out, set up the rest of his team here, expecting the push through the mosh as well. So snappy from Texture. Munchkin, I mean, the day that ends in a Y, and he's wrecking people with the Guardian.
Still jazzed up.
He forever is.
Expecting that forward presence here. Clear coming through. Texture, oh my God, just jumps up on top and strikes him down. Given no chance whatsoever as Meteor as well, just blind off the timing on that poison orb. Finds a kill onto Rossi. Sage now gone, that's a lot of your protection, a lot of your damage dealt with, but 2 decent kills here in response as Carpe and Izu get 1 apiece. Izu creeping forward, but there's the thrash. Oh, jumps up over the top, tries to get in on top of it. Izu has to go for the reload, otherwise it would have been brilliant, but that's now the spike. Stranded here outside kitchen. Carpe looking forward, they knew that he had worked his way in. They should be somewhat suspicious about this, that's why they're looking over towards that'd be Heaven's side, but can he actually get the jump? Texture right now not reading that Carpe could be in behind towards their spawn.
They've completely lost track of him. They're not entirely sure which way he went. I think pretty soon they're going to get it figured out. I'd love to get this kill over to Munchkin. Get him that orb to get the null command for the next round. Carpe trying to do the math in his head, see what he can get done, but may
30
just
seconds left.
take his time, looking for that last second push around the corner though. Munchkin catches him. This took a little bit too long. Gen G 4 in a row now to start Icebox. This is, it's just crazy how good right now Gen G is. I mean, just not missing shots. Texture so aggressive on this A site. This time pushing pipes, shutting him down. It's brutal right now for T1, man.
And it is. That timeout not coming through quite just yet. Likely waiting to see if this round can bear any fruit for T1, get them on the board. Otherwise, might just have to see that early intervention once again from Autumn. Was it the round 5 mark that we saw it on Lotus? Gen G continued to take forward space here on Iceboxes. Rossi going to be taken down. Texture noted. Lockett traded out. 1 for 1 in the end as Karen does get pinged by that recon dart. All of Gen G now just going to go backing away. Up, not sure if this has been scouted yet. Don't believe he's fired a shot. Pop flash through the wall. Munchkin goes aggressive. He's able to find 1 before getting taken down. Deny on the TP as Extra will fall, but now suddenly it's going to be Izu versus Meteor, who's still making his way over towards the site. Full util, the pit online. Tap on the spike so far. Gets the spot, gets the headshot. Izu will bail them out with a 4K.
Yeah, Munchkin here trying to use his flash through the toxic screen to get some value. And he catches some players, but he's able to be dealt with quick enough. The trades start coming through for T1. That operator at least finding some value. The early push out again. This time it's like a 3-man stack for Gen G. Catches a player, and I like the way Texture played it, where he realized that he wasn't going to be able to necessarily find much value outside of a low percentage, high-risk play, and instead dashes back. But still, T1's Izu having a lot of impact here so far on Icebox for T1, despite the scoreline.
Now get the op v op. There's the drone. Just going to have to back way off. Saya going to be noted forward. Drone continuing to scan here as Munchkin swinging the corner, catches 1. Ooh. Tries to get the pre-fire there. Extra able to go ahead and trade that one back. Now Meteor flushed out. Off here backside though, Texture finding 1. Rez coming through, up and over the top. Texture just managed to put down Rossi. But still, the man advantage established for T1. Pushing towards the back lock, yep. Snappy with the headshot, gets rid of Izu. That takes the potential pit out of the equation. Now he's a little bit stranded. Sends out the wingman, they know exactly where he is. He goes swinging forward, unable to find it. Dismiss out, Karen drops down, sends a snake bite there at Saya's feet. It's a vulnerable across here onto this Reyna. He needs to be snappy with this. The reposition is so damn good from Karen. Pulls back to screen and catches him by surprise. Gen G quickly reestablish some control. Lose multiple players, but they're able to get that round win, now move up to 5.
And snag that up back up for Texture. It's a good start here for T1. Getting that early spot onto Texture opens up a lot of space, and they take advantage of it. But they lose a player quick. Saya does go down. They're able to get that res, and Texture, that's so fast, but what a great reaction from Xcurate to take him out of the air.
Yeah, I kind of would love to see that POV from Xcurate.
Yes.
That had to be a very snappy shot.
Not like that.
As well. Oh, still technically in hand here as Xcurate does have that Tour de Force ready to go. I mean, multiple ultimates built up from the side of T1. Saya player does go for a bit of a hero rifle here with that Guardian in hand. Empress online. Lear out, Meteor just tucking back. Just decides to go ahead and give up the angle. Pulls away, gives up some space. He still has the double nano swarm and the alarm bot set up here to try to slow things if T1 continues to aggress towards B.
Yeah, expecting that push around yellow. Getting a little bit of help here from Karon with the util. able to clear that dart, and T1 doesn't really like what they see, and not much contact for Xcurate from the belt area, and he's saying, all right, guys, it looks pretty free to me.
They're going to get a decent idea of this, though, and can start counter-rotating on the side of Gen G as they spot absolutely nothing over by green. So now storming their way over towards A site, getting ready to intercept. And T1, because they are being slow and methodical on this approach, this means that they are going to end up clashing against basically a full 5-man. A little bit of a delayed lurk from Meteor, who starts working his way across. Texture able to find one, gets out, 13 HP remaining on him, but still alive and in the fight. Carpe dead, that gets rid of the Hunter's Fury. Sync Bite will force Saya player back off that forward angle, and Rossi just gets sprayed down by Munchkin. Spike now on the floor. Izu with a great headshot, finds one, but needs a hell of a lot more of that. Munchkin just drags across, finds it. Now Xcurate, just simply no time left. But have to kill all of them. He's been noted, he's been taken down. 6-1. Gen G continue on their merry way.
Yeah, it's just really good tracking of the map here by Gen G. Like you said, they don't find any info over on green, and they're like, well, they're going A. You know, even though Texture hasn't had any presence, he's doing a good job keeping himself away from that tour de force, knowing that Xcurate likes to play up on that belt. And they just smother him. Good holds once again. Gen G just firing today so well. I mean, you're starting to see that the guns are coming alive for T1. They're starting to have some pushback, but it's just not quite enough. Orb going to be snagged. Texture gets leered and has to get out. That's going to slow things up. Munchkin checking. Been seeing T1 like to hang out back there. Hunter's Fury.
Got the tag. It's going to be Charon taken down, and Lockett giving way too many targets. Xcurate finding another. Dismiss out. Texture can ignore the Reyna for now, but Rossi with a fantastic headshot takes him down out of the back box, and now that is all on Meteor. Wall comes up to go ahead and further deny him access. Lockdown is available, but 1v4 seem quite a bit wanting. He's just a little bit delayed. Could have gotten the punish there onto Rossi. He is reading this flank quite well. Has his eyes trained over, but now turns off the angle, so Xcurate will be able to get the headshot in the end. T1 finally able to find themselves a second-round win.
Yeah, this is just good patience here from T1, waiting out that utility, and then striking right after the 0 point pops. They're just like, okay, now we go. Now we pop the Hunter's Fury. We dodge that so we don't have to worry about it canceling our ultimate, and then we can just go. Start knocking them down. Good recognition of the space. Good awareness from everybody on T1. Gonna need a lot more of that here. But again, it's starting to feel like to me that T1's starting to get their feet underneath of them, especially in terms of their aim and their firepower. Getting aggressive once again. We know that Munchkin loves to try to push towards this belt area, covering for Texture. He's going to be able to grab that orb, keeping it away from T1 and keeping some big ultimates in the hands of Gen G. You've got the Viper Spit, you've got the Lockdown, you've got the Thrash. Texture holding a cheeky angle. Oh, can't find the shot, though. Goes for the reaggress.
Foresees that tailwind.
Yeah, finds a little bit of damage. Still Xcurate on and up. Holding that angle, keeping Texture pinned behind the site. Texture swings out and gets the kill.
Just wide swings and Xcurate unable to find the flick. Taken down. Early advantage here. Saya does manage to equalize, and Carpe bails Saya out. Good covering fire there from the Sova. Charon just looking back, avoids that leer, but now Texture going to be gone as well. Big advantages for the side of T1 in this round as they look to get themselves up to 3. And Meteor, don't think he's going to be ready for this one at all. Oh, the ADS in. It's almost a botch, but Isu's able to find the shots.
Yeah, I like what we're seeing now from T1. Now they're taking their time, kind of dissecting this A site. Even though Texture gets that early kill, everybody else is kind of covering their angles one by one. It's a good leer into a bait and switch there with the dismiss from Carpe and Saya player. The kind of plays they're going to need a lot more of. Really nicely handled there. You know, Lakia trying to be quick to trade, and that's something this Reyna can be really good at. You know, is teams that like to trade quick, you get that dismiss, and it makes it so difficult for your opponent to actually find value. This time around, expecting a B push, a lot of util going to be sent out early, is finally Gen G on an eco, just Sheriffs. Feels like maybe the first time so far this entire series.
Finally whittled away at that cash.
But they're really good at ecos.
Not spotting anything there. Oh, never mind. Karon does get spotted by that one. Izu pushing forward, able to find Lucky, but Munchkin finds a headshot onto Izu. So does get taken down. Meteor finding himself one as well. It's a shot into the shoulder. Karon unable to confirm that kill. Wants to try to swing out. Munchkin recovered Vandal, puts them down, and I don't know how they continue to do it, but every single time you think you have the advantage, you take their cash away. Gen G just turn right back around and rob you blind.
It's just unfair how good they are with Sheriffs. That's a great flash, though, from Munchkin. Absolutely disgusting. Against 3 or 4 players of T1. They're just insane. I mean, every time you think you've got them on the back foot and you can finally try to take a lead, they do stuff like that. It's just brutal how good they've been on those Sheriffs throughout the entirety of the year. Definitely one of the calling cards. It's not a Gen G match without at least one thrifty win. Trying to get that spray down again. This time, T1 taking their time. Only a little bit of damage done.
Ooh. Nothing too bad there. Is thinking about sending the Thrash and does so. Snakebite to try to force him off this one, but redirects it, drops it down in behind him. And that is a detain on the 2 players, I believe. No. 5 people to find the 1. There's a quick scope back through. Execute somehow able to restabilize there. Munchkin now on the floor. Texture with an AWP of his own. Just lingering around a side player, waiting within kitchen.
Spike planted.
Texture having the read somewhat on this as Munchkin will now bleed out. Texture has his work cut out for him. The knives are available, but he'll just swing into Extrit. Goes for the challenge, and Extrit is able to take him down. 4 rounds now established here for T1. Chance at a 7-5 half to go ahead and rescue what was a very rocky start.
Well, the trades are so good for T1 here. And understanding so well as X-Spirit that they're going to be trying to play off that Thrash. And he's got his op trained in great positions. Munchkin uncharacteristically whiffy there against him. Gives him the opportunity. I think X-Spirit went for the quick scope there and whiffed on the first one. The second one was good. And Easy does it on that next kill. So some signs of life for T1. Big ults, Tour de Force already popped. You have the Res, you have the Viper's Pit, you have the Empress, but still hanging on to those ultimates as well. Our Gen G, Viper's Pit lockdown. Is the Blade Storm available as well for Texture? So
the read right now, though, is good from Gen G. They have everybody rotated over. 2 quick kills can be found now. A third as Munchkin gets Rossi. Side player answering one back. Misses though, but as he swings out of yellow, ends up getting taken down. Excurate now all on his lonesome, 22 HP, and not reading the Texture is going to be arriving from behind. Digs the knives there into his back. So that's going to be 8-4 in the half with Gen G still out in front.
Yeah, I mean, some good reads here by Gen G towards the end of these rounds. Just understanding the change in direction that T1 wants to go for. And again, it's been very pacey from the side of T1 today. They're really trying to take it to Gen G, trying to scrape with them, and sometimes it's worked. Sometimes they've been able to get those trades. Oh, that's a cute sign.
Our powers combined. We'll cheer for the Gen G win.
Well, now that we got the Dragon Rangers coming to Shanghai. Very excited about that. But it's tough, man. I mean, for the most part, you know, Gen G's been so clean, so crisp. They're reading the positionings of T1 while they're getting ahead of Util at times. Their Util's been really good at slowing down T1's hits so that they can get themselves in a good position to get crossfires, to get flanks. It's very, very smart stuff here. Responding, yeah, showing off the Lakia. Yep, the Lakia Hunter's Fury move. I like it. There we go. Now our fans are getting it.
Getting into it.
That's right.
It's like T1 needs to get into this game. Couple decent rounds there towards the end of that first half, but needs to be a solid beginning. So far, 0-3 in pistol rounds. I want to try to turn this one away. Take down Gen G's map pick. Needs to start with a pistol.
Yeah, Munchkin having tremendous impact on this map. Some great flashes, great shots as always. His Guardians ring true for him in the early half. Now, we're going to make a bit of an A maneuver. I'm curious about Meteor's turret, what he's going to do with that. And he is going to set it up there to watch from Belt for the flank. 0 point, only catches Saya, and then Karon takes him right out.
Takes him out. Harpe as well, tagged down low. Does get the heal from Rossi. Back up to 100. Point now coming through. right off the ropes. Shock dart sent, just trying to clear out anybody who's playing forward, but decently tucked back here are Gen G. No bites to work with here. They have a Dizzy and a Fragment for the post plant. Wall available from Rossi. Get in a position to try to cut this off, but there's the Fragment. Just playing off the timing, swinging to the back though. Izu trying to swing in behind it. Getting taken down. Good amount of damage coming through. Oh boy, Lakia can't find the stability there. Can't find the aim. Now suddenly it's all on Meteor. Trying to clutch out the round. Wall sent. Rossi just around the corner. Is this being read? The answer is no. They're going to be running out of time. There's the kill coming through. Meteor trying to keep them in this one. Swings up, gets the other, and he's bailed him out, I do believe. Yeah, time's not going to be there. This round stolen away by one sneaky killjoy. Meteor gets them now 4-0 in pistols and up to 9 on Icebox.
Oh no, not like this. Oh, T1, you played this so well. I mean, Gen G gets a little bit whiffy here, but this early kill is nice, but then, I mean, there's so many opportunities for Gen G to just kind of smother this round, but Meteor, so good with his positioning so many times today. And this time, just able to find some space underneath the noses of T1. Now you got a couple sheriffs for T1 as they're down 9-4. Xcurit has to get right out of there because of the util dump. Gets blinded up. And now Gen G looks to continue their path forward. The rotations are coming in here. Let's see if we can find some value. This headhunter. Ooh.
Okay, one tap instantly. Texture taken down, but not given the opportunity for a second shot. Karen will be able to collect 2 kills. Zizu also falls. Carpe and Saya, sheriffs in hand, chance to deal some additional damage, and there it is. Lakia dead. There's at least one of those rifles now left on the floor. Wow. Now another joining them. It's Carpe. Comes up huge. 2v2, Meteor on the lurk.
There. Saya got held up.
Yep, Saya pinging it out. Carpe now turns his sights over here towards the KJ. Whoa. Finds the instant headshot, and Carpe delivers!
That is insane.
What a reply, what an answer. A Thrifty against the Thrifty Gods. T1's Carpe comes up huge.
I mean, this is really well thought out by Gen G. It's just great shooting from Carpe. Just so fast with it. Oh, that last shot is a flick and a half. But I mean, Meteor, the alarm bot spots Sayas. He's trying to come out of A on the other side of Nest. And Sayas just left just trying to figure out how to get past the turret as well. Eventually clears it. Like you said, they were able to sniff out where Meteor had gone. It's just, Carpe was just better. That's all there is to it. He was just better.
Grab of the orb. Ooh. Quick little jiggle peek there. It's going to be a double face. No. A little bit disjointed and delayed there on the peek out from Charon. They get some damage on the Xcurit, but that's about it. And Rossi can go ahead and patch that up if need be. Lakia just wanting to grab the sheriff. Does so. And Meteor caught on the lurk. Lakia now taken down as Texture's the last man standing to see if he can do any kind of damage here. But Rossi just walls him off, grabs the orb. Sai will find the headshots. Flawless here in response. T1 starting to claw it back.
Yeah, this is huge. Carpe gets his Hunter's Fury as well. Like we saw with Lakia on their defender side. Got an early ultimate. See if he can find some value out of it. Xcurit, nice job holding the line. Covering there for Rossi to get that orb. Try and get a res a little bit faster. So T1, again, starting to feel a little bit crispier, a little bit more in tune. Some of these compositional changes. Yeah, Sai hasn't found a ton of value on the Reyna, but Xcurit has been really devastating on that chamber. Flash up and over. Trying to buy a little bit of space, but look where Sai has snuck to. He has gotten right into one of Munchkin's favorite spots.
Wall drops, gets some damage across, but Charon pretty privy to it. Does manage to find that kill. Rossi trading one back though. Meteor now eliminated. And Hunter's Fury still available. Carpe in a very forward position. Swing out, Charon. He's just sprinting at them. Carpe able to collect 3 before getting taken down. That now puts Munchkin in a 1v2 versus Izu and Xcurit. Util not available for him. Does have a null command, but Izu with snake bites here. Try to just go ahead and clear off some angles. Really look to flush him out, and Munchkin's still worried about a potential flank from behind. 0 point about to come back up.
Should have a good angle up here. It's just how well is T1 going to be able to respond?
While coming through, tap on the spike. Swings up for the peak, and yep, there's the covering fire. They take him down. T1 now 3 rounds in a row. Biggest streak they've been able to establish so far in this series. Just 2 rounds separating as they once again knock back the economy of Gen G.
I mean, Carpe is just coming up huge right now. He is shutting down Gen G at the point of attack. Jeez, man. So fast there. Even gets that third on the Charon. Thought Charon should have him. But he's able to turn it around.
Let's go.
Starting to breathe some life into T1. Some huge plays. Still has that Hunter's Fury, but you still have that Pit. You have that No Command. You have that Thrash available for Gen G. They're investing in this round. A Guardian going to be the off purchase for Munchkin, but doesn't feel like that's much of a downgrade for him at all, considering how nuts he is.
Side player playing forward here.
Oh yeah!
Thrash will be sent. He swings the corner, gets the collat! Extra lock, both going to be taken down now. Carpe able to find Meteor. Saya the only catch thus far here on the side of T1. It's Charon knocked to 45. I mean, No Command rolling, but T1 not really giving a damn about that at all.
I think just expecting that No Command. Rossi waiting. Ooh, just misses.
Carpe could just peek out above. They try to take him down, but not necessary. Rossi will be able to finish the job. Munchkin picking up one, looking for a second. Can't make it happen. T1 now within touching distance, as it's been 4 rounds consecutively for them after dropping that pistol here in this half. That just Sheriff, thrifty, that clutch from Carpe. Seemingly just emboldening every single player on T1 at the moment.
Yeah, I love this from Saya. Trying to get aggressive again.
Nice, guys. Good job.
Showing him a different look at the beginning of the round. And expecting that No Command. Expecting the fast hit from Gen G. And just shuts it down. And that's one of the things that T1 had a ton of success against Gen G in their previous matchup. Is getting right to the spots where Gen G wants to set up their executes. Wants to start those util dumps. And then shutting them down. And Gen G rarely had answers for it, especially on Ascent. I mean, T1 was so devastating on their defender side on Ascent against Gen G. Gen G, I think, needs to start spreading the map a little bit more. I think you need to show some tricky looks here to T1. Not necessarily throwing in fakes, but just kind of shifting their weight from side to side, kind of trying to keep the T1 defenses off balance. Let's see how they are going to approach as they come out of that timeout. See what Solo had to say. But T1, all it takes is one of those rounds. You know, you see it all the time with Gen G where they look a little flat and then they hit a thrifty and all of a sudden they're world beaters, and now it's T1's turn. Now they have some big ults to play with as well. Give that res for Rossi, or still the Hunter's Fury, but Eco for Gen G. This time around, just expecting some aggression. Looking to see if they could cut it down if it did come, but T1 is playing a bit further back this round against this Eco buy. Op as well for Xcurit over on the B.
Let's go ahead and move over. Triple peek into mid. Very much suspecting that there's going to be some presence there, but now we'll start drifting back over, especially as that Dizzy gets heard.
Trademark right around the corner for Xcurit to work with. It's going to be holding the angle. Gen G.
Waiting for that Dizzy timing. Send that out. Off shot, not going to connect. Would have been a hell of a one there from Xcurit had he been able to nail it. Snakebite just going to get thrown down, but for now, Wingman moving forward. Looks to get the plant through. No real way to interrupt this one. Is the Hunter's Fury going to be coming across here from Carpe, but I think he's going to be sending this one blind. Now the Pit invested in Meteor around the back. He's able to get the jump. But taken down. Flash swing out there from Texture, just trying to get the pick off there onto Xcurit, unable to find it. Snakebite sent back yellow. Pushes him away from the angle. Cloudburst to try to cover as Izu continues to aggress, continues to swing, but now everybody's just here within the pit. Dragging across, run, gun. Rossi able to find one. Texture going to be taken down. Good damage across. The side player will fall. Munchkin finding Rossi, but now the answering kills come in as the pit gets dropped. Xcurit finds a headshot. Now it's all on Meteor. They had already noted him. After that pick up there on the Lakia, he's got to sprint, he's got to try to interrupt this, and he can't quite make it happen. Decent damage, a decent attempt, but tied up all the same. T1 have continued to run this back, and now they tie things up at 9-9.
But I like this round from Gen G. It looks a lot more like Gen G during kickoff in Madrid, where they're kind of working the map a little bit, sending somebody out on alert. Meteor finds a decent amount of value. By the time he gets there, it's all too late. And X-Curate now starting to get fired up. The IGL trying to rally the troops as they've tied it up 9-9. Huge stuff. A lockdown for Meteor. The only ult to speak of for Gen G. Now, we have a hell of a series on our hands. Still looking for some value in mid this time, but just going to grab his utility and back out.
Side player once again. He's posted up top here. Snappy's going to be. It's not be enough. Does put some damage across. Texture going to be whittled away at there to 39. So no Carpe up above as he drops back, pulls back behind screen. T1 now just getting everybody collected, shifted over here towards this A site. The spike is planted, and that's going to be the lockdown here to buy some further space and time. Oh, but okay, they push forward, trying to play aggressive here against that lockdown, but now the answering kills come through, and that means that they are going to be forced back. It's not found, but able to find at least a couple kills. Texture goes creeping forward, but Texture, I started this round off down to 39, and he is looking to just put an end here to T1. Some more damage. Izu whittle away at 76. Tap on the spike. Fragment comes through. He's on the hunt. Wants to try to get rid of Texture, but he cannot. A 4K. Texture survives the round, finds all the impact needed. Gen G will be able to get themselves up to double digits and reestablish a one-round lead.
And it's just a little change at the beginning of this round for Gen G, just reading Saya's position well enough that it changes the dynamic of these rounds instantaneously. Then they're able to swarm the site, use that Dizzy, use those utils that you have an advantage in your flashes, especially your deep flashes. We're able to clear the back of the site, get into those post plants, allow that lockdown to be set up, deal with the attempted aggression in the middle of the lockdown well enough. Here we go, Blade Storm pop for Texture, saving a little bit of extra cash. You do have the tour de force as well for X-Curate. Right up mid is Gen G.
Explosive entry. No one spotted though. One tucked away. Inside kitchen, side player changing up the position, still playing with elevation, finds one, takes the dismiss out. Carbon in the meantime able to find Lockett, gets Munchkin as well. The spike now stuck here in mid. The pinch potentially coming through as Rossi, he's in kitchen. Texture gonna be noted. There's the push out. The timing right as Texture turns his back. Meteor now in a rough spot, and as he swings, he will get struck down. Only one kill found. T1 tie things up yet again at 10-10.
It's just been so awesome to watch Saya, the way he positions himself with this Reyna. Doesn't need to have a tremendous amount of impact with the Reyna util. Just needs to be in the right spot at the right time. Carpe is so good right now. So clean. The reveal as well. Setting up his teammate. It's just a good reaction. Good protocols here from T1. It's like, okay, we had to give up that space in the mid. Let's get ready for the A hit from screens. Set up a high-low and just shut him right down. Overflash attempted, does catch Rossi, backs him off. Cannot find the shots.
Manages to bounce his way out to safety though. Big rotate coming through here from T1. Still forward presence from Gen G. See if they opt to commit forward into this one. 0 point, spotting nothing. Rossi, quick little peek out there. Sees plenty. Swingman goes for the plant. Swing out, Rossi taking down Meteor, reading. That lurk was going to be coming through. Texture, however, able to get the catch here on the side player. Strikes him down through the window. Now puts a couple shots across there. Rossi forces him back. Slower percent. Rise available, but Corpsey just can't get over to it. The Thrash now going to be sent. Ping out, Karen revealed, flushed out. Izu finding that kill, finds himself a second. Looks for the third, can't make it happen. Lakia looking to be alive, pointing that op shot, but then it gets taken down by Rossi, and now Texture with 5 HP. Surely it's hopeless. Swings out, finds the first one though. But an op to try to hold the angle. Looks for the spray, dashes out, and it's just going to be held for the defuse. Cannot stop it at T1. They will establish the lead. 11-10.
The first time in this series that T1 has had a lead. And a good idea from Gen G. They pumped the brakes a little bit after showing some presence outside of green. Rossi with a good hold, expecting that position from Meteor. Meteor likes to come back through tube after he's holding down the flank angle at A. And they're able to work that utility. Nobody clears that recon dart either from Carpe. That was a huge problem because it revealed Karon and made it easy to double swing him. Karon tried to get ahead of it, but too many players looking at him. He got shut down quickly. I think Gen G, Karon didn't even look at it. I think he was expecting somebody else to clear it behind him.
Yeah.
Did not come through.
And this has been a repeat issue so far here for the side of Gen G. Feels like I'm watching Gen G, or DRX rather, versus Team Secret from last year. That Haven, no one clearing darts. Ping, reveal there. Oh, the flash timing is perfect. Meteor able to find Carpet, but Rossi takes down Lakia. Swing forward though, Meteor. Striking when they least suspect it. Does get whittled away, down low on that HP, but man advantage is here. Gen G not wanting T1 to get themselves up to 12.
Look at this positioning from Texture. Knows there's an op, trying to keep himself hidden. Izu, though, has skirted the net.
Out. Yeah, does not get caught by that turret. Munchkin, however, still watching this position. Very suspicious of it.
Great awareness. Knowing the open space. Should probably just be safe at this point.
Oh, but he turns away.
No.
Right before the reveal comes through. Time still ticking. Excret trying to find one, barely misses the timing. Now it's really about trying to deal some damage, but Izu will fall, which means the 3 players at Gen G crucially do get to hold on to their weapons. Excret can carry forward that operator. Cash aplenty here from T1, so not going to be too bothered by that overall, but probably bothered that they can't get themselves up to 12. They can't lock in at least that guaranteed overtime.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a 3-man push. Again, taking care of Saya's early positions. I think expecting some kind of cover there was Rossi from X-Curate, but wasn't able to find the angle in time. All tied up 11-11. Overtime seems very possible right now. Couple away from the lockdown is Meteor, the only potential ult to speak of for Gen G, but Hunter's Fury, Viper's Pit, Empress, there it is. Hunter's Fury fishing.
Looking, but too shallow there though. Final pump, not going to get the shot. Just barely misses out on Munchkin. His Texture peek in the corner, able to spot 2 and somehow comes away without taking any damage. Tailwind saving him completely and utterly as X-Grid is on a very forward and aggressive line at the moment.
And Meteor knows it's likely X-Curate that's over there. It's been mainly X-Curate locking down the B site, so he doesn't want to give him any opportunities.
They're just going to cut noise for now. Try to instill some doubt here, but overall not spotting anything. I don't think that was necessarily the wall he was... maybe it was.
Well, just if they come that way, it gives you a little bit of extra timing to get ready, because they're going to have to break it down. And they've got such a crossfire setup towards that eastern side of the site.
T1, I mean, they're reading this properly.
Yep.
Right here.
Decent setup. Easy with the back, clear out on the recon. They know at least that there's going to be one here. Yes, that could be a lurker.
30 seconds left.
That 0 point without an ult command. This pit could come in instantly from Izu as soon as the hit begins. Flash sent, snake bite to start. Cloudburst there into the backside, however, able to find Karon. Locky just storms away up over the top. Finds one. Meteor does get Izu. That pit not going to be a factor now. Rossi deadly drops off the top of screens. Had fallen down to 4 HP, and you can tell they do not want to take any chances here against X-Crit, but he's going to try and still play ahead of this. Find a timing to get a catch, but they are staying stagnant, tucked away, and now he has to back out. Narrowly manages it, a frame away from getting caught by that. X-Crit, 8 bullets in the headhunter. Can he manage to make this work? As the open hand could recover a Vandal down below, but has to make noise, drops in. The push forward, Munchkin on the other side of the box, and he can't even stabilize that off fast enough to try to get a no-scope shot. Munchkin will take him down as Gen G get themselves now up to map point.
I mean, T1 does everything right in terms of getting themselves in the right position. The wall's in a great spot. Gen G just so fast and furious on this execute. Again, some of this deep utility that Gen G has really makes it tricky. for T1 if they want to play that close. Because the Dizzy, because of Munchkin's flashes, you can really clear a lot of those angles. Yes, Rossi goes unaccounted for on top of screens, but did enough damage that he had 4 HP when he fell and died. So good enough, and Lakia there just instantly getting up on that rope and pushing forward towards site, breaking things open. Meteor on the quick follow-up to find 2 and get his lockdown. He has been tremendous for Gen G. And as T1, I mean, again, I like the way they play this round. I like the idea. That wall funnels everybody into one side, but somehow Lakia is able to just get far enough past on the ropes. I suspect because of the flashes, Rossi had to turn him, and it gave him just enough time to get in there, get the job done. So all things considered, Gen G's firepower once again proves to be formidable. Now, look at this. Thinking about the B side, Rossi is over here. Try to help X-Cure it out a little bit. See if he's going to try to set up a wall and maybe just head on out, suspecting that he can maybe thwart this hit, send him back over. Indeed. He's going to be cleared quickly, immediately, with the Thrash to follow up, trying to clear sight.
Pulls it back. Get the pickup here as X-Cure trying to get on a very aggressive line. Texture swinging out. Rossi, what in the hell was that? Finds a shot, but X-Cure, it's way too shallow of a TP out. The Rendezvous does not take him deep enough. He's able to get caught, and Rossi gets cleaned up. 3v3 now as the wingman gets the plant. And Briss, having since been popped, that a third of the way gone. They do have a pit if they can get Izu in a forward enough position. They have to commit that. They're going to have to use it. So just the last round, they need to take this to overtime. Tap in, side player still in deep. Noted as the pit comes through. They're still playing right up in front of this one. There's the swoop through. Meteor finding one, pushes out of the smoke. He's able to find Carpe as well. Zaya now needing to go absolutely nuclear. He's drifting back across. He's just running out of time. The alarm bot, the vulnerable, it's all pushed through. The time is dwindling and it is just absolutely done. He cannot find the last shot. Gen G, they will put them down. Push to the brink a bit more here on Icebox. 13-11 the score line, but the result still the same. Gen G way out in front.
Well, Gen G said they've been working on this Icebox in our pre-match interview, and it looks pretty good, but T1 had some great responses, some great ideas with this Reyna and Sage. Just, again, eventually, Gen G's able to get it done.
Well, T1 now in a very rough position, needing a reverse sweep. We'll go ahead and pass this back over to the analyst as to break down the action from Icebox.
Well, today's match is certainly heating up. Gen G continuing on a winning streak on the first 2 maps, taking Icebox, but T1 did start to pick up there, especially in that second half on defense, and it came really close. I mean, we're even discussing if we're going to go into an overtime or not.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the comp a little bit before going to the map. It definitely is very specialized for defense, and I was kind of reaching back into my memory zone trying to figure out where have we seen this before. It was played in EMEA as well, and obviously everyone still is not that convinced, right? It's either close games or it's kind of mismatched opponents, things like that. But I think you're starting to see, okay, the strengths are very clear, but Gen G, they've been very good at adapting to some of these new comps that T1's bringing out today.
I mean, we see it happen so much, especially in the second half. In the first half, it's kind of like weird. It doesn't really work out all too much. There were so many times that T1 tried to head over to the A site and it just kept getting blocked off, or anytime to get peaks or duels against Gen G dealt with them so quickly. And that second half is where we start to see more greatness. I mean, T1 started to peak out a little bit. There were moments where Saya was able to sneak up against them, getting a couple of frags, but the follow-up sometimes is a little bit lacking, and that's where Gen G starts to adapt, because they know that T1 is going to try to push up against them.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, is that when Gen G was on defense, they read the weakness of T1 very well, right? That you would have to play contact, so they would actually meet them earlier than T1 was expecting, so you kind of shut them down. But in the second half, it took Gen G a while to go back to some of their strengths at the beginning of the year, which was that util dump. Even the casters are talking about it. But Gen G, it seemed that they got so used to the pacing that they're currently playing in the current meta, right, during stage 1, where they like to creep up, cut audio, take contact, and then util dump, that they were trying to force that, which doesn't really work well against this composition. But a couple extra rounds, a timeout comes through, and then they say, okay, just use our util early, because how are they going to retake? We just break the wall, and then their retake is so much weaker, and Gen G finally is able to just barely cross the finish line.
Precisely. I mean, towards the end of the map, that's where we started to see these rounds where Gen G's really like trying to create a lot of that early presence, bait out some of these utilities, especially the wall from Rossi, and then go in for that push, go in for that execute. And at that point, T1 just really, weren't quite able to deal against that. Sometimes they had some certain like positioning where they were able to trade for each other and really get Gen G in a pinch. But apart from that, Gen G was just able to bring themselves back out on top. I mean, there were so many rounds where we even saw like Meteor, for example, whether or not it's the lockdown in that final round or whether or not he was able to sneak up against T1 at some points.
Well, I mean, we are going to be going to map 3 after this. I mean, T1 really needed to win this particular map to be a little bit more comfortable in this best of 5, and they came close. We saw it here when they were on the defense, but it wasn't quite enough.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Icebox proved to us that both teams clearly did prep it, right? While both teams have been avoiding it for much of the stage 1, here at the mid-season playoffs, both of them are prepared well enough that they don't mind leaving it open. But as the casters mentioned, even Gen G, I don't know if you would quite feel confident picking it if you were to, meet other teams at Master Shanghai. So clearly things to work on, but the individual prowess. I mean, this was one of the clips you were talking about, Quack, as well, where Meteor just the decision-making individually. And this is what's scary about Gen G, is that if you are just close enough to matching this team, they will always have some of these rounds, the individual heroics, the individual decision-making that gets them 1, 2 extra rounds. And that's all you need to cross that 13 first in a map of Valorant.
And it happened pretty often as well. I mean, there are some of these moments where we start to see like Rossi or even maybe X-Curate, Saya player sometimes getting a couple of frags. It happens for T1 a little, but it's just not still enough to bring them over that edge. Meanwhile, for Gen G, I mean, everything was going right for them. You still have, Meteor, Munchkin fragging off. Texture especially, I think there were some times where they weren't quite able to go in together, but when they are together, when you have like that utility dump from Munchkin, from Lakia, there were so many times that T1 was just fully blinded and they weren't able to fight back whatsoever.
Now, we saw a lot of really good ideas come out from T1. We've said this for the last 2 agent comps on the last 2 maps, but it was like X-Cured was, telling us earlier backstage that, they have some structural things to still work on, and it really reflects here today. Now, Bind is their pick, and they absolutely must win this to have at all a chance to continue on till tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, listen, not all hope is lost. VCT Pacific is where we saw the first Tier 1 reverse sweep last year with Paper X taking that reverse sweep against DRX in the Grand Finals, right, at Pacific. So it's been done. We've seen it since then. And obviously, I mean, T1, they're looking better on Icebox, so I think they've got a decent shot. However, they've now brought out 2 new comps on 2 different maps, but for Bind specifically, I would just love to see them work on this comp again, because they're the ones who came up with this composition last year, and some of these players, like Carpe, were playing on that roster. They know how to work it. The coaching staff helped build this composition. They should be able to play it with better clarity, and so far, Stage 1, it hasn't been convincing.
Yeah, it has been like not even middling results. Like they lost to Zeta Division, for example, on this map. The record has not been. No, actually, it's darn terrible, really.
See, I mean, both of them
0-4.
Yeah, but both of them don't look very promising on Bind. So clearly, a lot to work on. But I just think that this competition for Team 1 has always had very clear strengths, and they should be able to at least prove that part.
Yes, absolutely. And I hope they do exactly that, William, because even on map 1, they had a comp that worked for them, and they decided to experiment. I don't know if today's the day for experimentation. On the other hand, you could argue maybe it is because they're qualified for Shanghai anyway, and they're just seeing what works. With that, we got to talk about our guess and gain. We guessed correct. We were almost not correct. We were almost all going to D-rank.
Are you happy about that or not?
I'm a little conflicted. There was a point where I was like, you know what? I don't care about my rank. I just want good Valorant, and that was great.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, I just want to see Valdez drop in his rank, because that's what I wanted. I don't care about my rank. I just want...
Well, you can take your beef up with him. He's Mr. Guess and Gain. He's still Mr. Guess and Gain.
Yep, continues to stay up there.
He's just like up here now.
Can't even see him anymore.
But here, collectively, we go up. Oh,
everybody,
Clinton is now immortal. Wingman is back to you guys, or Ascendant. Asteroids back to Diamond. Whoa.
Oh,
my God.
Oh, Asteroid
Gravity.
he sees the future. He's dropping.
What is this? This is plat. I got these two going out to plat. I go back to gold. I'm like always stuck in gold. And then, hey, you guys are out of iron. Look at that.
Finally.
Congrats.
No longer hard stuck.
Congrats. No more hard stuff. Well, for now. For now. All right, we got the next guessing game. It's the next map will be Bind. Who's going to be winning Bind? It's a lot closer now. You can see from the viewers' votes, it's 59% in the favor of Gen G. Do you guys agree?
William's already ready.
Oh, I wanted to change my vote.
Too late. Too late. It's 3.
Okay. I'll have my unofficial vote. My unofficial vote is T1, but I think I put Gen G. Before the show, started. Yeah, Gen G. Why do you guys think this map pick, it'll be Gen G?
I mean, well, obviously, so far, Gen G looking much stronger as well. But I would also just think Gen G, clearly, they're sticking with the same comps. They're just brushing up a little bit more. And I think that's allowing them to adapt much faster to whatever T1 brings out, right? Whether it's new comps, whether it's new styles. They're so comfortable in their compositions that their adaptation is just faster. And I think that's really important in a match like this.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to. I mean, I'm thinking back to how T1 beat Gen G even last week, and that came down to a lot of preparation, a lot of great reads coming out from, Xcurate, who was able to control the map and really predict or anticipate what Gen G was about to do. But we're not seeing any of that today. Maybe some little glimpses, but not enough. And Gen G, on the other hand, are the ones who are adapting on the fly. Whatever these new compositions are, Gen G's always trying to fight back against them.
Well, I think 3 times a charm. And like you said, William, we've seen reverse sweeps happen before, and no way T1 wants to end like this. It can't be a 3-0. I don't think this is how they want to go to Shanghai. So let's see okay, all right, they're not changing too much here, which is a good sign. This is a good first step for T1.
This is actually a good change, I would say, in the current meta, right? I mean, Sky, obviously still very valuable, but she's had her limits ever since the nerf a long time ago. KO is going to be very good, especially against the Cypher as well. So this nerfs Meteor a little bit in trying to just anchor on his own on whichever side.
And you got that additional nade and flashes as well. The Null Command possibly giving you a little bit more agency in how you want to push into the site or retake a certain site. I think it could work, but what I really want to see is that, Gecko, Harbor, needing to see Xcurate come with some great strats and reads.
Yeah, the mid-rounding is going to be important, but T1, again, not a huge change, so hopefully they're a bit more fluid, because so far, Munchkin is just 2 steps ahead of Xcurate every single moment, and that's what's keeping Gen G ahead in this best of 5 so far.
Today is the day for T1 to win their very first best of 5. They absolutely must do it today, or else they're going to have to wait till next time this happens. Maybe in Masters, maybe back here in Stage 2. But does the buck stop here for T1, or are we going to see a map 4? Let's go over to our casters, Achilleos and Paper Thin.
Thank you very much. Here we go. Gen G, the potential to close out a 3-0 T1, needing a reverse sweep if they want to get themselves into that grand final. But we see here a minor adjustment. Overall, not too many changes. Comps on the first 2 maps from T1 looking sus. Tried to cook like Paper Rex. They're probably sat back at home thinking they not like us. Now, we get ready to go into this bind. Just the adjustment on the KO. Let's see if this holds water for T1, if they can get that much-needed map win.
Yeah, for T1, I think these new comps just weren't quite workshopped well enough in the time they've had off. If you look simply at the assist numbers for Gen G, you've got 3 players with 20+. The most anybody has on T1 is 12 right now, so between the first 2 maps. So for T1, it's just like they're not finding as much value. Karon here just going to try to slow things up with his Molly. Yes, gets checked by the 0 point, but just waiting this out is T1, and they're going to try to just deathball their way through Hookah.
Smoke's coming down. There's a swing, and Karon going to be taken out. First and foremost is Rossi's able to find that headshot.
Oh, easy.
Meantime, Izu on the lurk. Cleaning up texture, but Munchkin will be able to go ahead and get the punish here onto the Viper. Picks up that Sheriff.
Like all those shots they heard over on B, so they're pivoting in towards A. Munchkin gonna pop that toxic screen. Good reveal.
There's the reveal and the cleanup. Arbate dead. Plant still coming through, trying to clean that out, but get the damage on the wingman a little bit too late. So Plant now in. T1 in an advantageous position as Meteor comes lurking around the back. X-Curate lingering back over, trying to wrap through showers. Means that this strike here up short could catch them off guard. A little bit of damage found, but kill not coming through there onto Rossi. He gets tagged up, and now Gen.G, all their attention paid away from this angle. Munchkin gonna fall. Shots just to the side, unable to find that kill so far. Fragment buys some time here. They're able to find another elimination, but Rossi gets Meteor, and now it is all on Lakia. Sheriff in hand, tries to get that flick over to the right and cannot make it happen. T1 will find their first pistol round win of the series and kick off Bind 1-0.
Yeah, that's a huge moral victory for T1 for sure. Already, Rossi so good on KO since he switched to it this year.
Careful.
Gonna invest in a Vandal early, as well as X-Curate. Bulldog, Guardian, and a Marshal is what it's looking like. One of the things that I noticed on Breeze, I know we're not going to be playing that map here, but with X-Curate's Harbors, he's really good at using the Cascades and the High Tides early in the round to isolate a player of Gen.G and use the rest of his team to take them down, whether it's just a dry push or something else behind it. Really, really impressed with the way that he was piloting that agent on Breeze. And looking like it could be similar here on Bind. A good start. It's only one round, but already we're going to do some damage. Trying to combo that player in the corner.
Oh my god, he is just absolutely screwed in that position. Up he goes, and the corpse hits the floor. All now rising. Lakia spotted there. Across the left side of this back sight. Bite coming through, full flash connecting. Across that bite though, Charon does eventually fall down. It's still going to be man advantage held here for the side of Gen.G.
It's going to be a gun upgrade for Lakia though, off that kill and showers. E-plant, looks like it should be able to come through. Some of the Cypher utility cleared. Everybody now making their way in, giving the Cove the opportunity here for the Wingman to get the plant down. Let's see what Gen.G can muster. They've got the numbers advantage. Right there. Don't quite have the gun advantage, though.
Because of the Cove, they've gotten themselves into sight as well. Marshall, Bulldog recovered. Lakia just trying to stay tucked. Mosh at the ready. Going to be lobbed in. They hold it to half, and I think the Mosh hasn't missed. It's going to be no. They pull off it just in time to avoid the damage. The fragment also comes flying through. Carpe getting ready to spam across the angle. He's just barely off. They're just going to hold this one for the win. It's another Thrifty in different fashion from the side of Gen.G this time around. Two players will be left to survive from T1, but Gen.G just sneak in and they steal that one away.
Yeah. Like you said, they just use that Cove against their opponents. You know, you use that Cove to make sure that you can get the plant safely. Any fast rotations, knowing that you've given up the Marshal and a Bulldog. Don't want to take any damage in Hookah from that angle. But still.
Yeah.
There's a side angle of the stage there. Looking good.
This is my favorite replay. They're just like, no, we don't want to show this. We can't error what just happened.
Sparing T1 some blushes there.
Yep. Just let him have. Oh my god!
What?
Okay, screw everything I was about to say. Meteor just shuts down two so swiftly. Swinging from Texture though. A little bit being able to come away with the kill in the end. Backs off, but my god, what a start. Texture eventually felled theirs. Carpe manages to swing out, take him down the jump forward. Charon just swings through the wall, finds X-Crit. Now it is all on Carpe. Charon clears out the Wingman. Dizzy up over the top. Quick clear on that one. Carpe pushes forward, is able to take him down, gets a spot on a bunch against the Trailblazer. Will get the stun. No one in position to capitalize though, as Carpe pulling back. We're going to work his way into the teleporter, but it's just a moment too late. Munchkin will be able to find him, and Gen.G will now move up 2-1.
Yeah, nice stuff there from Carpe. He's been really sharp today. You can say if there's one kind of bright spot here for T1. Ever since Icebox, Carpe's been looking really, really in tune. That's ridiculous. That little micro transfer there from the side of Meteor is absolutely ridiculous. He's been nuts today on those Sentinels. Charon going to be grabbing a judge. Something you got to be aware of as T1. He will, if they recognize the economic situation of Gen.G, certainly need to be considering it. And this is something that Gen.G, even though they lost to DRX on Bind, we're doing really well, is keeping Hook under control, especially with Meteor's utility with this Cypher. All these different setups you have to be aware of. You're going to be able to use that smoke to obscure himself.
Dizzy out, damage across. Rossi tagged down to 25. There's an easy cleanup into the neural theft from Meteor. Just in and out, one after the other. As Lakia trying to transfer, can't make that happen. Meteor does get taken down easy on the approach from Garden, able to find that kill. Now the Sentinel gone. Thrash instantly dealt with. Barely any vision going to be gained. That's why Lakia goes unscouted here in Cubby. The Mosh not deep enough, or rather it's too deep. Not shallow enough to be able to find the punish. Extra creeping forward will be able to find it. Carpe covering fire, takes down another. Karon now arriving from behind the judge in hand, but Carpe somehow gets that headshot. Karon just making a little bit too much noise, but do they suspect the double approach from behind? The answer is going to be no. Texture finding one. Nade into back sight. Satchel at the ready, bounces forward, cuts over to the side. Excurate here within the tube, ready to swing out. He catches him with a boom bot in hand. T1 will get themselves a tied up map now at 2-2, but barely so.
I mean, it's so impressive that they're able to get through that setup that Meteor had. You know, gets the cam spot into a neural theft and then jumps down, but maybe gets a little too aggressive towards the octagon, pays the price. Lakia trying to do what he can, but reveals his position and gets stuck in the corner. Makes it easier for Excurate to get that kill on that swing. Carpe coming up with some big kills in that round again. This time around, Trapwire's going to be set up in front of short. For now, T1 is going to hold back. Just wait, see if there's any aggression. You do have a Guardian and a Bulldog to consider. Showstopper as well. Excurate has the Reckoning, though. So when they do decide to go for that hit, have a little bit of extra ability to clear open that site. 4-man stack on B for Gen G. But for now, nobody from either side, uncharacteristically for this match so far today, really wanting to push out until now.
There's a creep up, Carpe spotting one. Sends a Dizzy. I'll just go ahead, jumping back.
Right there.
Not overstaying their welcome.
There's my buddy.
Just get the pick up and start drifting their way across here towards A, but mirrored there by Lakia, and now looks to try to reinforce this site. Yeah, they're reading secrets at the ready, but yeah, they're reading this well. It's a matter of if they can try to deal with the firepower. Shots out. There's the push getting ready to come through. Reckoning sent. Lakia trying to jump back. This gets stunned up. Meteor able to find one before getting taken down. Man advantage very much here in the hands of T1. Flash at the ready. Pop flash sent. Lakia pushing forward is able to find Rossi, but it now leaves Karon on his lonesome, just now arriving with a classic in hand. Saya player will go ahead and get the one tap. That shot comes in. T1 reestablishing a lead.
Yeah, good reading of the map by Gen G again. I mean, I think overall they do a pretty good job of mirroring what their opponents are trying to do. Good setups, but again, good early shooting all just in time to see Texture before that Harbor util arrived. Snappy from Saya. But overall, I mean, I like what Gen G's doing, but T1 is just really clean with where they need to be looking and shooting on these entries. Deep 0 point there. Not really going to find much for Rossi. Meteor, this time around, going to set up his cam outside Showers. Just be right around that door. It's going to be Munchkin. Just going to try to play off this trap wire. Lakia there, potentially to back it up. But this is something T1 has. That's danger close here.
Watches the side. Oh, Showstopper v. Showstopper. Sent both wait until they hit the ground, but it's going to be Texture who comes away with a kill. Saya, way too shallow with it. Tap goes out, Lakia eventually going to be found. His wallbang attempts coming through. Rossi gets that kill. Bill Command now coming through as Munchkin. Here, alongside the wall, just put the KO down. Still has to stay tucked back. Tap, but now Meteor arriving. Swings through, finds one. Carpe continuing to find impact. It's a kill there on a Munchkin, but he's completely and utterly surrounded. Izu arriving. Carpe delivers another one. Izu getting one for himself. And Carpe will be the finisher. A 3K from him. Bailing them out once more, giving them an even stronger lead, now 4-2.
Carpe's just on one today. He is really reacting quickly to stuff, and accurately as well. Great find from Rossi. Munchkin doing a great job there, finding that first kill and then using that high tide to sneak back away safely, to buy a little bit of time for Meteor to sneak in and find a kill, but Once Carpe got on site, he was just an absolute nuisance. Gen G had the numbers advantage and they couldn't convert. And that's going to force a timeout here. I'm really curious to see what they're going to want to do. I think overall they're making somewhat decent reads. Now in that round, they don't really anticipate the B hit fast enough, but still Munchkin did a good job buying time. I mean, did what they could in what looked like maybe it would be a unfavorable situation to start. However, you know, Munchkin plays it well, but Carpe plays it even better. He's just so fired up. See HSK, they're all pointing at the map, getting involved with it. Let's see what they want to do.
A bit more proactivity here from Gen G. I mean, I think one of the most curious things that we saw in Icebox was just how unwilling they were to really intervene and call that timeout. Didn't see it until after round 17 when T1 had already considerably ran back the map.
I mean, you might just be trying to ice Carpe, if anything. You know, he's just...
Shut that man down.
Yeah. Well, Sheriff, so, you know, it's basically even for Gen G. Okay, wait, there is a Bucky there for Lakia at the front of B, but a little bit more aggressive positioning here from Meteor. Does have his camera there as well.
It's a lot of Utah, though. Boombot and the Paint Shells both expended there from Zaya. Cam's still set up.
Oh, look at it, too. It's on the ground. That's so annoying.
Oh, well, doesn't matter anymore. Tries to go in for the challenge, was feeling it, but the Zaya player quick to shut that down. No value, no damage found whatsoever there from Meteor. With that Cypher eliminated, that does make this A site a lot more appetizing for T1.
And you have the Thrash as well here to clear some space if necessary. Don't know if they'll invest the pit, but...
Texture still suspecting that he's going to be in position, but as soon as this hit gets ready to come through over on main, it could be him pulling off the angle. Still paying some attention over there. Karen able to find one. Rossi going to be taken down. Thrash sent out. There's the orbital strike now invested. Texture recovers a weapon and just not quite ready for it, just off the angle. Karen, however, absolutely prepared, finds himself a third elimination.
Oh, this Bucky.
The Bucky here in the smoke, the push forward. He spotted it for a brief little moment. Second pump, Lakia able to find the kill.
Spike down A.
Now Karan trying to clutch this one out. Time not there. Xcarrot TPing across the map. Should be able to just about get this one through. Drops down. Does he have it? No. Just a bit too late. They know it. Cash will come in, but it's yet another Thrifty in ways that we might not expect for Gen G to win the round.
But I like what they do in terms of maintaining shower control. Texture immediately backfills when Meteor goes down, and they're just covering each other really well. It helps that, you know, they're nasty with Sheriffs, especially Karan here. Jeez Louise, that second one. But then Lakia able to get into that smoke with that Bucky. Kind of stalls that round out just enough. Really smart stuff there from Gen G, covering each other really well, and their positioning in that round. Absolutely beautiful.
Op now in play. Good point over the top. Poison Orb here for Munchkin. Just going to go for a bit of a timing spray. Has to back away as the paint shells come flying through, and side player is way up over the top. Gets himself all the way wrapped around. He's looking to intercept, and I don't know, have they read this? Right now, they're still moving. Knives in hand, and yeah, he will be able to clean up that kill. Easy in the meantime, gets rid of Munchkin. And flushed him out of this site for the most part, and now they're fully unprepared for this arrival up into heaven. Karan goes for the challenge, somehow wins it. It swings out blind to go ahead and take him down. Lakia now swooping through, finds a kill onto Izu. It's all on Rossi with 42 HP. Trailblazer coming through, tucks back around the corner, trying to stay out of sight, out of mind, and I don't think that they have noted him. Now he's got a major opportunity here for a huge backstab. They're basically in line with one another.
Oh no.
Smoke there, pushes up into it, but Lakia privy to this. Turns back, has the protection there. Cleans him up, grabs the operator, and we're tied at 4-4.
This is a really awesome round from T1 in terms of the preparation for it and the thought behind it. Saya getting so deep, catching so much of Gen G off guard. It's just Karan is just an absolute rock outside of showers right now. Texture does find a little bit of value just before he gets taken down. They're just reading that really nicely. Lakia just says, okay, wait. Might be coming from the other direction potentially to have Viper's pits on both sides, but T1 now forced down to a weaker buy the way the things have gone in the last couple of rounds. Gen.G waiting out this Boombot. 2 stack outside of Showers, 3 in front of A.
Sheriff and Carpe's hands is what I'm looking at. Munchkin, he's spotting quite a bit of action here over at short. Molly, paint shells, everything just sent to try to make this short push completely undoable, untenable. But oh man, Rossi eating so much damage. Down to 11 HP as Munchkin continues to spray and pray, hoping for some kind of elimination, but it's only damage found so far. They're under the Trailblazer. Showstopper at the ready, sent. Texture this time will get caught, but Karen in the meantime, he's killed 3. Carpe will be able to put him down at long last, but interrupt there on the plant. The wingman unable to get it done. Tries to line up the headshot on this height. Carpe not going to be good for that big Sheriff clutch. There's a little bit of damage, but once more, that operator is going to be carried forward, and Gen.G now get the lead for themselves.
This looked a bit more like what Gen.G was doing on Lotus, where they're just delaying. And then T1 just keeps trying to force the issue. Karon's so good right now. Bailing Gen.G out in a couple of those previous rounds. On the point of attack. Clean with it. Gets another 3K. He's up to 8 kills now. Had a bit of a slow start. 1 away from another orbital strike, though. Already seen 1 in this half.
Chance.
Yeah.
Chance here for a very solid half at T1.
Oh,
Gen.G,
yeah.
you know, starting on this defensive side. So a couple more rounds, they'll be in a good spot. That 0 point getting the ping. They know that there's going to be an operator. Sasaya wisely backs away for now. Wingman just held up there by that trip wire. This Meteor now looks to reposition. Just going to stack in right on top of all of his utility.
And he's got Lockett there to back him up. That crossfire going to be really challenging. This is something DRX struggled with a little bit on this bind. There's that Cascade. Meteor remembers it.
Right. Big botch on the fragment. That was meant to go in deep. Must have just clipped the corner of the wall. Now they look to go aggressive as Munchkin able to find Izu. Lockheed's catching. Carpe was trying to just offer up some kind of peel util. Nice here at Saya now scrambling. Running for the hills, and it looks like maybe a bit of a miscommunication. Is okay, at least side player just checking out behind, trying to see if anyone's going to come sprinting through cave.
I just love this from Meteor. Remember the last time that Cascade came through, and this time he's playing in a position to get ahead of it. So smart. And now I think just a save going to be in order for T1.
You just don't have the money to try to play through this one, a 2v5. So very unlikely. And we'll just stay tucked back. See if anybody over-aggresses, pushes into them. Gen.G certainly could try to go on the hunt here, but looks like they will show some mercy. Allow them to retain their weaponry. But Gen.G now going to move up 6-4. So 6-6, the best the T1 could hope for. It would still be a very solid attacking side, but the need to get those gears churning.
Well, the thing that concerns me right now is that Gen.G has been able to hang on to their Viper's Pit, and now they've also got an orbital strike to back it up. And that could be really difficult. That neural theft, huge. Munchkin right in the teleporter waiting with open arms. Yeah, like, not sure what happened with Carpe there. But now it's going to be T1's turn to take a timeout. Try to steady the ship for these last 2 rounds. Going to have a few rifles to work with, but not going to be a full buy, I don't think. Everybody on T1 trying to stave off a 3-0 defeat here. Yes, they're going to Shanghai, but man, oh man, would you like to get to that finals? Man, oh man, would you like to win? Because then you get a bye going into Shanghai.
You get a bye, you get to pick your opponent, you get championship points for winning the stage. There is plenty at stake. So I mean, I'm sure there's going to be there's plenty of people out there who I'm sure in the chat or online are saying like, oh, well, you know, it doesn't matter too much. They're already going to Shanghai. There's still tons to play for, tons more advantages that you can give yourselves down the line, whether it's for Masters or for that chance qualification. So there is every reason to still play for that win. Yes, can you be a little bit more lenient? Can you take some
some risks?
Can you take some risks and
some
go for some different
comps?
Yeah, so you cook up some compositions that are different. Yeah. Just don't want to overdo it.
Yeah.
We saw that overdone a little bit. That Lotus T1, I think, you know, they were cooking with an easy bake. Get the big boy oven out.
Yeah. You can only make 1 cupcake at a time with those easy bakes.
They're poisonous.
You're gonna need a full stove for this one, for sure. Now, and like I said, weaker buy here for T1. The spam to try to dissuade them. The trap wire crisscrossed outside of that hookah window. And already down is Rossi. Meteor's going to find him. Things not really able to go T1's way. They're trying to find space all across the map, and you do have a little bit of a push out from Izu, but it's certainly not comfortable. And Shower's control somewhat seated, but it's accounted for here by Gen G.
Munchkin's just watching for it, but that paint shell draws his attention.
Oh, Meteor saw him.
Yeah, spotted, but now they're all going to be spotted. And Izu says, okay, I'll just go ahead and collect this judge. Make this a little bit more unassailable, but if the rest of the team can't get themselves out onto the site, it might not matter. Plant interrupted, Reckoning invested, Orbital Strike now coming through. Izu trying to push up, trying to get a timing, but Meteor able to draw down, finds that kill. Excrit pushing his way through Lamps, does find one, but still so much more that he has to try to work through.
So
30
challenging.
seconds left.
Spots one. He could take the teleport, but now the angle's going to be watched. Swing out from Charon, and he'll just go ahead and win the fight. Gen G, they get themselves up to 7. And this here is where T1 absolutely need the round win. Try to salvage this half. 7-5, not a bad scoreline for the attack. Lower than that, though, it starts becoming a bit more worrisome.
Things look a little bit disjointed right now for T1 and some of their decision making. You invest the Reckoning here, but Izu has an opportunity to plant that Viper's Pit, maybe make things a little bit easier for you if you're going to go for those ults in that round. Thought maybe that would be it, but instead they're going to opt to save it. Munchkin's still with his as well. Showstopper again for Texture with that Operator in hand as well. An early push out flash was going to prevent T1 from continuing on this hookah pressure, but now going to use some utility to clear. And this time, space is given up by Gen G. Ult popped here for Rossi.
And Gen G wants them to come through here onto this side. Full flash there on the Locky. He'll eventually get flushed out. A Pit to try to hold people in place over on this side of the site, but remember, some Gen G are unable to hold their ground. Texture now. Showstopper at the ready. Sends it, but within the tube, they are safe for now. Thrash now coming through. That's going to be sent his way. Oh, no. Jump up over the top. Now dizzied. I mean, Texture's just absolutely screwed. Take it down as Charon goes inching forward. Flushed out aside. Continues to hold down M1. Gets the kill onto Munchkin. And that is going to be T1 getting that necessary 5th round win on their attack side to close out the first half.
Yeah, the fact that Gen G gives up that space to T1 there means that when the null command is popped, they can't use any of their utility to slow that attack down. They have to rely solely on their firepower, but it's great util from T1 to keep Lakia planted behind that box. Flashes are great. And that basically is them swarming into the site, doing a good job understanding that the Showstopper was going to be there, putting themselves in positions where it's going to be hard for Texture to find value without at least giving up a trade. And there it is. Yes, dance for us.
Show your despair by acting like the Texture emote.
Yes.
Gen G fan here showing the eternal battle between them and T1.
Oh my God.
That is quite a bit.
I mean, it's a lot of the same thing.
Gen G victory, Gen G victory.
Yeah, it's just a lot of the same thing written over it again and again. Point 1, Gen G victory. Point 2, Gen G victory. Quite the thesis they have there. Not sure that would pass muster with my college professors, but sure.
You seem to have just copy and pasted the same words over and over again. I mean, he did set a word limit, so.
Yeah.
How else was I going to reach that?
Look, all you need to know is that Gen G's winning. That's all that matters. Well, with Gen G going to be on the attack, I mean, honestly, not a bad attacker's side. Considering it's bind for T1, generally this is somewhat slightly defender-sided, so got to be feeling that this is definitely their opportunity to turn this series around. Another pistol win would be huge for them. Able to find that first one, even though they got thrifted right after.
Yeah. Able to win the pistol, win that anti-eco.
Setup so annoying on A. 2 in U-Haul, and then Carpe in the corner, but right now it's just an exploration mission for Gen G. They're trying to get info, and they don't have much other than what they don't have.
A lot of info being gained at the moment here, though, for T1.
No.
Lockett, he's got that spike in hand. This could be devastating. No idea that anybody could be swung out like this. Rossi pulling back, almost putting himself on the angle. Now spotted. Messiah goes in for the chase, but Lakia swiftly replies. The headshot comes through. Keeps himself in the spike safe.
I love the idea.
Now. Rossi dropping out a window. There's the cleanup. Now the rest of the site completely open. Munchkin watching the teleport and puts down Excurate with ease. Kill quickly found in the meantime. Meteor still here on the site, and it is a rude awakening for Izu. Getting out Lurk, just wanting to recover that poison orb while he still can. And now Carpe is all on his lonesome in a 1v5.
I mean, this is so difficult, especially knowing that Meteor is going to be behind you pretty quickly no matter what happens here. Texture does get taken down.
That's the first one.
Okay. And he knows.
Reads it. Can't get it though. Very close to taking out Meteor, but there's still so many more layers to try to peel back to get that pistol round turned around. It will be 6-1 now. Gen G have just been dominant in pistols.
Like butter, baby.
I love this idea on this push out of Hookah that they spot Rossi as he's falling back, and Saya just tries to swing right away to catch Lakia off guard. He just doesn't. I mean, Lakia is just so ready for it. That's incredible awareness from Lakia. That looked like that was maybe going to be Saya. You know, some players might just turn and run there. But Lakia wise to it. Then they're just marching their way forward on the site, cutting players down. And Meteor catches the lurking Izu. So well thought out by Gen G.
And they want to set up this wall to try to, play with that ambiguity. Say, oh, have we lurked forward? Have we not? What is the, what are we doing? The cam just goes up. And Meteor says, well, I can look at everything, and I know that you haven't pushed out. Maybe somebody could have gotten, behind that teleporter box just a little bit faster than the cam set up, but very aware that no one is on that lurk.
Well, I'm sure it's something that Gen G noticed in their VOD review was how well T1 was using that Harbor util to take space and find favorable positions and angles on Breeze. So, yeah, great awareness from Meteor. And, again, finding open space once again are Gen G working the map, and Meteor taking down Excurate.
Strikes him down. And now the plant coming through. The rest of Gen G going to be able to go ahead and start the rotation. Pump to the camera. Meteor now going to start inching his way forward and get ready to try to go for yet another backstab here through this defender's spawn. Saya very wary of it though, keeping his eyes trained on that angle. But Meteor, he is slow creeping. Turtle-esque at the moment in his approach. This is just time bought. So there's the eventual swing out. He does get that kill. So much additional space taken. Lockett finding one, trying to set up. Has to go for the reload now. Counter swing out from heaven, not coming through. Lockett just backs away. Re-challenges, finds the headshot. The rest of T1 trying to stay tucked, trying to stay protected as Rossi down to 8 HP. Will be able to die to the spike. No, actually Lakia hunting for it, wants the kill, will not get it. The spike will claim them both, but Gen G nonplussed all the same. 9-5 now. There's another day at the office for the squad.
It's all according to plan here for Gen G, so they only buy 2 rifles and then 3 pistols, 2 sheriffs and a ghost, and that allows you to push that extra space to make sure that you don't give over those free orbs to the side of T1 without taking some for yourself. I really like this buy and this thought into this round. Find the opens. Lakia he wanted to get that kill.
Somebody get the soap.
Yeah.
I'll wash this boy's mouth out.
Don't tell the censors. But it's such a smart idea here on this anti-eco from Gen G, because now you've got full rifles, you've gotten a bunch of extra orbs for yourself. So well thought out.
God, so ready for this. Just chewing up the aggression. 2 kills instantly found. And for T1, you already have to start considering, do we save?
Yeah.
Do we just figure out where they're going to plan and just run to the opposite direction?
I would. I'm already in save mode at this point, unless like whoever's on the site that they hit just goes absolutely nuts, which at this point, they may be feeling that pressure. They may feel like they have to go for the hero plays, and they're setting themselves up to try to counter this A hit. I mean, they've got everybody there. Just can they execute?
Blazer through, Cove. Nope, Moral now sent. Texture. jumping his way in through lamps. Izu taking quite a bit of damage, doesn't offer that much in response either. Sends out a snake bite. Flash is going to be good though. Xcurate tucked in here outside of shower. He's able to find one, but can't get a follow-up. It's going to be Lakia mowing them down. Clearly still out for blood, still annoyed that he wasn't able to find that final kill in the previous round. Carpe now is able to find one. There's still so much work to be done. Wingman the check forward, there's the TP. And Texture just playing perfectly in behind. He's able to take him out. Only 2 members lost. Cash plenty on the side of Gen G to get themselves up to double digits. Just 3 rounds now, separating them from a 3-0 victory here in this lower final.
Just absolutely brutal what Karon's able to do. So good at maintaining Shower's control throughout both halves. Absolutely backbreaking for T1 there. That was a almost must-win round. Now you're down to a Guardian, a Marshal, a Stinger, and 2 Sheriffs. Try to get a Thrifty. Try to recover a bit. Gen G is content now to take their time to look for these push-outs, to look for any traps. That was another thing that caused them a lot of grief the last time they played T1 with some of the trap plays that they were setting up, especially on Ascent. Here on Bind, really doing their diligence, really making sure that the space is truly open. Now a high tide after that Trailblazer there to try to obscure some of the positioning here of T1. Allow Xcurate to sneak in just a little bit closer with that Guardian. Here come the Seekers though to counter it, and a flash as well. What a shot with the Marshal.
Messiah does put down Lakia, finds one, but now Xcurate lost. Rossi noted by the Seeker. You hear the Stinger. Shell sent out to try and delay. Bit of damage going to be found there as Karon does get knocked down. 53. You're watching the angle here for now as that smoke is ready to dissipate. Cam getting the spot on the 1. Realistically, how do they start this push? Wingman to try to lead the charge. Cage set up though. Texture able to find side player. That's a player in heaven now. Gone. Cage going to dissipate. They pull back into lamps. Izu able to find one. Opens up the shower side of the site. Karon still standing. Munchkin as well. Gets the spot before the flash can bloom. Triple for him as Gen G now 11-5.
Yeah, just great post plant setups here for Gen G. Have the smoke to cover U-Haul to hold that angle. Have a couple players watching from the heaven side of the site. Very, very steady play from Gen G all day. Just catching Saya right as he's trying to enter. Karon continues to be just absolutely phenomenal here on this map. And T1 has to go for one more timeout. See if they can figure this out, see if they can get us on over to split or not. It's not looking good.
No, it is not. Down by 6 at the moment. Their final timeout now being committed. T1 are in a very dire situation. The run back needs to start right now. Gen G is just looking, it's looking like a breeze in the moment for them. And getting pushed on their map pick of Icebox. Clearly they did their homework on T1's map picks coming into this series. Because so far it's been just looking absolutely dominant.
No doubt. It is really good anticipation here from Gen G. I've liked some of the change of ideas as the maps have gone along. I thought maybe they were a little late to react at times on Icebox, but really, you got to give some credit to T1. Some of the ideas they cooked up, even with these new comps. Yeah, it didn't get them a map win on Icebox, but it definitely kept it close. Now here on Bind, a map that typically they've been pretty decent on. Gen G is having their number. This angle from Xcurate, though, with the under from Izu as well. Gets the opening kill. Meteor gonna try to use that Cyber Cage to get in, but Saya gonna use that Boombot wise to it. Meteor has to pop the second cage, but Xcurate still goes fishing and finds some value there.
Yeah, just set up here on top of 2. Well, there's only a couple different places you could be, as Munchkin not ready for a potential push out there. Flash not deep enough, but still Rossi able to find the headshot. Lockie gets taken down, and suddenly it's all on Karon. That is the first. Second elimination would give him the ultimate.
Got the spike.
Grabs the spike, looks to back away. They line up! And suddenly he's in with a pinch, but a double approach in from behind. He's suspicious about this, but surely T1 cannot allow for this round to get away from them. Smoke drop at the back. Charon thinking about challenging in. They're lined up once again, but ooh, this time he won't be able to collect 2 kills. Solid effort though, still damage dealt. The T1 cannot afford to suffer. They will be able to win the round and keep themselves in this for now.
Their first defensive round win here on Bind, and it's just holding good angles and just kind of catching Gen.G a little bit off guard with the space that they think will be free, and it's not. The high-low setup on the tube gets the free pick. Xcurate able to take Meteor out there even with all the smoke in the way. So now a little bit of life, a couple ults, both sides, this opening scrape.
And they try to go aggressive, but they just put them down. Similar scenes to Meteor when he was holding out showers. Texture just quickly transfers, finds 2. Looking for a timing catch here is Izu, as Rossi with the TP is able to go ahead and clean them up. Brings it back into a 2v2. Poison Orb being sent. There's the neural depth, and as he tries to swing out, this is going to be the poison taking him down. Carpe, however, shoots through, finds one, reveal, still pinging. He's just strafing across everything, and Carpe will get the spot. He will clutch it out. He will keep T1 alive.
I mean, that's so fast. There's so many counterplays in that round. You know, the tube flash and push from Rossi. So nice.
It was a weird round.
It was very weird. And then the double mollies there looked like it had stopped this round, and somehow Meteor just, oh, we got stunned up. Not able to respond. That was so quick there, but everybody just finding good timings with their utility. And just barely, Carpe once again with another hero round. He is just giving CPR to T1 to keep him in this.
He is not letting them go down without a very solid fight.
Can't use that.
Still though, these rounds, it's been, you know, scraping by.
Yes.
With the wins. The wins all the same. Showstopper available here from Saya as Carpe now looks to try to hold things at showers. Oh, pulls off the angle, the timing there. Absolutely brutal. I still trained on it though, just takes a bit of a safer angle. The cam now going to be invested. Carpe not wanting to peek that angle anymore as Michigan finds his way up in towards Lamps. Karen able to find one. Meteor going to be taken down now. Rossi traded out. Texture comes away with that kill, and that is going to be the site broken open. Triple approach rather, mind you, coming through here across the link, but there's a trap wire set up, and Lakia close by, ready to go ahead and intercept. Pulls off that angle. Texture holding, unable to stabilize, but do they suspect the double sack up here? The layers that are put in place. Lakia will be able to find one, then gets taken down. Xcurate, the ulti online. The pit also available here for Izu. Munchkin pushed up the cove, bailing him out. Damage across onto both. There's the orbital strike, and Xcurate, he gets taken down. Izu now with 5 HP. Chasing around the back, nothing spotted though. The Molly still buying time, and he knows that he can't do anything else. Has to just escape, has to hold on to his weapon. He will hightail it out. Charon's util will go ahead and delay long enough for Gen.G to get the round of victory, to get the clutch, and get the team up to match point.
This is a tough hold here for Carpe and Rossi. There's no smokes to bail them out. This is just them having to try to play off their own utility, but by the time they realize what's happening, Gen.G is already on the site. They're already in U-Haul. They're already in your house. And, I mean, yes, they're able to punch back.
The man knew all eyes were going to be on him.
He knew. He's been phenomenal here on this map. 19, 11, and 5. Tremendous impact on that Brimstone there with that util too. Oh boy, here we go.
On that boom bomb, and showstopper galore as both of them get taken down. Xcurate tries to hold the rest. Ends up trading out one before getting taken down by Charon. Carpe, however, continues to hold a little bit stronger. 2 kills for him. Charon finds his second. Once again, in a position where he needs a clutch. Eats a nasty amount of damage, though. Util cannot come through. Rossi up on top of the box. Izu pushing his way forward. Looks like maybe Charon, does he just creep over and take the teleporter out? Seems like that is going to be the solution here in the end. Teleport
fights.
taken.
They're so fast and furious. Carpe gets tagged up by a flash, but still able to find some kills. Must have turned it well enough. Love to see the replay from his angle because he got some high impact kills again.
Point through, footsteps made, heard likely here by Karan. But then he does it, it's the double approach. Yet to be seen, but for now he's just keeping his eyes trained. Spots one, pulls back, but Rossi also seeing more than enough there as they set up the orb. He says, okay, I have to swing out now. It's not planted for me, and that they use to take him down. T1 once again holding on by a thread. They continue to try to get themselves back into this one to try to take this into overtime, but they still need 4 rounds consecutively.
The trades are good. I need to see this. I just love the, you know, the old anime battle there. Oh, okay, yeah, he turned it well enough. Gets those 2 kills. Huge stuff. But you need to string 4 more rounds together just to get the overtime. Secure it with a Reckoning, Munchkin with the Viper's Pit, a Judge for Texture, and then Pistols for Gen G. Are they going to be able to close this out on a Thrifty?
Boy. Be a kick to the gut for T1. See if they're able to stave this off, get themselves up to 9-round wins.
Once again, Gen G so wary of a push out from T1. Really just waiting this out, just seeing if anybody is going to push through. Now, the 0 point from the other side of the map lands in showers. Gets some identification of Lakia's positioning. And now Gen G going to try to use that high tide against T1 here to sneak up right next to the site.
Starts a rotation here from Carpe. He's in position to help peel off this expected pressure. Ball going to start falling. Spraying out beginning. Paint shells at the ready there from Saya up here at Heaven.
You could TP here. You have the cam on the other side of it.
They do. Reckoning coming through, but it looks like they are just going to go ahead and stay stuck in for this plant. Count again, getting tagged low. Paint shells will whittle away at him as the pit now goes up. Gen G, they do want to end this right here, right now. They want that Thrifty win. Double TP coming through. Lakia trying to watch from behind, but takes one shot, pulls off the angle. Goes out wide, pulls up the angle again, but now they tuck their way back forward in towards Showers. Carpe, stray shot, catches Texture to the head somehow. Now Thrash getting ready to come through to try to fish them out. The chase forward, nothing spotted. Meteor going to be taken down. Lakia trying to go for a flash. It's up falling. They just hound them down one by one. In onto the defuse. T1 will keep themselves alive. They keep the hopes alive as they get themselves a ninth round victory. 3 more to go. Still, because of how scrappy these have been, they have 0 stability whatsoever as far as the cash flow is concerned. And Gen G, that was their attempt at a Thrifty. They do get the pit out of them and breathe a sigh of relief on that front, but that orbital, once again, available for Karan.
I think it's his 4th one of the map. Just absolutely insane what he's been able to do. But this is great staggering of your utility that can clear Viper's pits really well. You got the boom bod into the Thrash, into the other util. I mean, it's just really well thought out there by T1. Really disciplined. Everybody kind of coming in from different angles. Able to dodge Lakia's attempted hold of that teleporter. So all the things going T1's way when they really needed it most. And we are back to Gen G just spreading the map. I like what they're doing, though. This is something I really want to see Gen G do a little bit more. Be a little bit patient, try to get a little bit of info. Going to send the Trailblazer out into Showers. Once again, that knife is going to connect onto Lakia, but that's going to be a different response. Pushing a couple through Showers, 3 through short. See how they want to handle this. Saya, though, with that op.
Double face, but just half a second off there. From being able to get that collat, Execute wanting to play forward. Does manage to find one. They line up for him, but he cannot collect the second kill. Quick scope in there. Side player spotting one, but then Munchkin comes through on the flank. He's able to find an elimination. Takes down that enemy Raze. 3v3 as Karan just looking to send this maybe just in the Showers. Opts to go ahead and wait. And Rossi manages to go ahead and collect another kill. But now the Molly holds him at bay. TP across, Carpe now joining in.
The orbital
with
strike,
triple stack. Yeah, triple stack into Showers. His orbital strike can absolutely wreak havoc. Karan ready to send it.
Prepare for hellfire.
Has the setup on it. Can they get out? It's going to be yes, easy does manage to get in front of it, but then Caron strikes him down. And now it is all on Carpe once again to deliver. The Mosh in behind. Double block, the swing out, he's caught with a Dizzy in hand. 13-9, Gen G will complete the 3-0 victory to once again tackle Paper X in the grand final to vie for that top spot in Masters Shanghai.
They're back. Took a little bit of time this stage. They felt a little bit off coming out of Madrid. A quick turnaround after getting second place at that event. And despite some trials and tribulations throughout stage 1 here, they are right back in form with a dominant 3-0 over T1.
Once again, Gen G just getting knocked down into those lowers, taking the longest possible route into a grand final. They managed to get themselves there once more. Can they win it? Back-to-back kickoff as well as stage 1, because right now, while Gen G looks like they are getting back in form, Paper X are looking like absolute world beaters.
Well, maybe this is just how they power up, Achilleos. They just want to play some extra maps, you know, just... It seems to work for them. I mean, it feels like the more maps they play, the better they get. They are so smart, so talented, well coached. I mean, they are the real deal. So are Paper X. So tomorrow's finals are going to be, I think, absolutely incredible.
Going to be explosive. Who knows what the map draft looks like. Some new looks here from Gen G, you know. We'll see what happens. So that is for tomorrow. For now, we'll pass this over to the analysts as to break down the action here from this 3-0 series.
Thank you, Paper Thin and Achilleos. Gen G are victorious in a 3-0 dominant fashion, once again entering the grand finals this year, again against Paper X.
Yeah, I mean, let's just put this into perspective. The craziness of the schedule that they had to deal with so far resulted in them entering 3 grand finals in 3 months since VCT started this year. Let that sink in. 4 BO5s, actually, 4 BO5s and 3 grand final appearances in 3 months. I mean, say what you will about, okay, they were a little rocky during the stage, you know, they let that grand final go against Sentinels, but clearly they are built tough right now to make it back into the grand finals again.
I mean, 3 grand finals. That's a lot of practice. Exactly. And they've made it through. I mean, clearly they are getting better and much more used to this schedule because this was 3-0. It's a dominant fashion in which they crushed, you know, basically against T1. You watch how every single map played out. They were always on top of things. Munchkin always 2 steps ahead of, you know, whatever Execute or Carpe are trying to throw at them. And you just watch how, you know, maybe not just Munchkin, not just the whole team, but each and every single one of them having the capability to, you know, make some of these great decisions. Karen single-handedly saved rounds.
Oh, yeah. I mean, what a time for Karen to really come back to that peak performance. You know, he looked a little shaky coming back from Madrid, and he's slowly been climbing back up to the performance that a lot of people got hyped up about at the beginning of the year. And right here on Bind, I mean, he definitely solo carried some of those rounds and gave us a hint of what is to come once again from that rookie.
I mean, Paper Thin said it as well. There's something about Gen G just really liking to torture themselves through the lower brackets, power up and just gear up and get ready to go to finals. That's how they practice.
Stockholm Syndrome, because Coach Solo tortures them too.
Yeah, they're like, no, you're gonna go to lowers and then you're gonna suffer and they're gonna do your bot mode on hard mode in the range for 5 hours before you start this game and then you win 3-0 because that's what they did today. Anyway, Gen G looking good. This is what I want to see. Either way, these are the top 3 teams who are going to Shanghai. Either way. T1, this is not the performance we wanted to see from them. They had a lot of new ideas, new comps, and it's clear that they need to work on it.
Yes, I think obviously for T1 fans and Pacific fans overall, what you're hoping is, I think the directions they chose coming into this weekend were good directions. It's just obviously it was 1 BO5 today. But if they build on that for Shanghai, can they show us a little bit more stability in that direction? Because that could be exciting to watch.
For sure. I mean, we were talking about the whole time. These compositions, these ideas actually look really interesting, really good. It's just that some of the execution's a little bit flawed. Clearly, they need a little bit more time to practice and rehearse a little bit more. But, and as you can see towards the end of the map as well, there's still a lot of these individual, like, hero plays from some of the T1 players. Like, Carpe was coming up with several clutches on this map. He kept them alive quite a few times. Just still not enough because, you know, at the end of the day, this is still a whole team effort.
Yeah, it goes back to what we talked about with Gen G from the beginning of the year as well, right? Every team's got heroes, but Gen G's got 5 of them, and they'll take turns showing up. They'll make sure that they buy time for their teammates to come back online. And we saw that again today. It was a 3-0, but they were trading those moments where they were able to solo carry some rounds and then go back to the fundamentals. You know, that it gave them enough rounds to figure out how to counteract some of these new comps from T1, things like that. And that shows why this is one of the top teams so far this year.
Ridiculously so. I mean, there are even these rounds, I'm starting to remember them now, like maybe it's not a lot of like shiny, like big multi-kill frags or anything, but Lakia, you know, for example, would swap over to a Bucky, and it's because of some of these like plays where they trade for each other, the whole team kind of comes in together where they are able to come up with these thrifty wins, and that hurts, you know, T1's momentum a lot. Sometimes you would see T1, they clutch up a little, they start to come up with a tiny bit of a streak, and Gen G just crushes that outright because they were able to cycle their ultimates. They were able to make use of their ultimates in those thrifty rounds. They tried to close it out with Viper's Pit of all things as well. Didn't quite work at that time, and T1 did a great job at deconstructing that Viper's Pit, but at the end of the day, it's still Gen G with so much value being thrown against T1.
Yeah, and say what you will about pacing and style, but I think that's one of the biggest differences between T1 and Gen G, is that T1 has strong players, but they're looking to try to make these solo plays happen, whereas Gen G is always looking to trade. That's been their color coming into 2024. That's what got them the victory against Paper Rex at kickoff as well, and now they're back in form, back with that confidence, now trying to challenge Paper Rex once again.
Couldn't have said it better myself, William. That's exactly it. And hopefully Paper Rex has taken some learning lessons since then. They did beat Gen G finally, what was it, 2 weeks ago now? But tomorrow, both of them have learned a lot about each other.
Yes.
And I would say both of them have evolved a lot. This is the first Grand Finals this year with Jing backing the roster as well. So things have changed. Tomorrow is going to be extremely exciting. And I think a lot of the other regions have their eyes on Pacific right now too, especially these two teams. And are we surprised to see these two teams in Grand Finals at all?
I would say not from the beginning of the stage. Maybe in the middle. Things were a little rocky in the middle. But now we think back to 4 weeks ago. This is kind of what we expected the Grand Finals to look like coming into stage 1.
Exactly. We can see why.
Yeah, and the performance carrying over from like Madrid as well. I think that's why a lot of the other regions are taking a look at Pacific. I'm just like, oh my god, what's the tomorrow's map pick and ban's going to be? Because if Gen G's Icebox looks this good, Paper Rex, oh god.
Well, we're going to go to the interview first before we get into tomorrow. So let's go over the stage for that interview.
Thank you guys, and I'm standing here with Gen G's Meteor. Now congratulations Meteor, a clean 3-0 in the lower finals. Gen G are in the grand finals tomorrow. Now how do you feel at the moment, and what would you say was the main difference compared to the last time you faced T1 in the round 1 of playoffs? 승리 정말 축하드리고요. 지난번 T1과의 경기에 비교해서 어떤 점이 달랐는지, 그리고 이렇게 3대0으로 승리를 거두고 결승전에 진출하게 된 소감은 어떤지 부탁드립니다.
저희가 DRX전을 이기고 팀원들이 다 자신감을 찾은 게 가장 컸던 것 같고, T1전이랑 했었을 때 저희끼리 무너지는 그림이 좀 있었어서 그걸 보완하고 나니까 좀 더 쉽게 이겼던 것 같습니다.
Well, I think it mainly had to do with that win against DRX. For us, picking up that win really gave us a confidence booster. We were able to get the confidence back. And when we compared the last time we faced T1, it was more on us kind of crumbling and things were not really working from our side. And we were able to fix that today. And thus, we got the win and we're heading to the grand finals. Now, T1 actually implemented a lot of changes today on Lotus and on Icebox as well. Now, very interesting and new comp, Reina and Chamber on Icebox. So what were your thoughts when you looked at their agent select, the compositions, and things got really close, closer than we predicted or expected. So, what kind of response did you find when you were facing this type of comp? 아이스박스에서 T1이 체인버 레이나라는 조합을 가져왔는데 굉장히 신선하기도 했지만 접전이 펼쳐졌거든요. 좀 어떤 식으로 해결해 가려 했고, 딱 요원 조합 봤을 때 반응이 어땠나요?
일단 저희 코치님이 조합을 알고 있어서 얘네 할 게 컨택밖에 없다. 그래서 저희끼리 자신감 찾고 이제 오프 앵글로 째고 있으면 우리가 이길 거다라고 얘기해 주셨습니다.
알겠습니다. Now, HSK definitely knew a lot about this comp, so he told us that the only thing that they can do with this comp is making those contact plays, making those dry peaks. So, you know, we were just planning to hold off these off angles, and we were able to not easily, but we were able to take the win on Icebox as well. Now, one thing that I've noticed, one thing that makes Gen.G really, really strong is the type of angles, or like the way you guys are able to position yourselves in a way where you can effectively bait your opponents. So when it comes to these aggro positioning, is it more on Munchkin or is it more on the coaching staff? 이제 젠지가 딱 봤을 때 굉장히 낚시를 잘 한다고 볼 수도 있고, 뭔가 트레이드를 위해서 팀원들의 베이팅을 잘 해준다고 볼 수도 있는데, 좀 먼치킨 선수의 요청일까요? 아니면 감코진이 좀 짜준 대로, 아니면 주문했던 바일까요?
게임 시작 전에는 감코진 분들이 많이 얘기해 주시고, 그리고 게임 중간중간에 안 풀렸을 때 이제 상범이 형이 저희를 잘 조율해 주는 것 같습니다.
So it's the coaching staff reminding us of what we've prepared, what kind of positioning that we need to hold before the game. Now, in the game, when we're kind of struggling or when something's off, it's always Munchkin trying to clean up or readjust our positioning most of the times. Now, tomorrow is the grand finals with Paper X. So what's your mindset heading into the grand finals? And is there anything, you know, you want to say to Paper X? 그러면 이제 페이퍼렉스를 만나게 되잖아요. 각오와 함께 한마디 해주시죠.
사실 킥오프 때랑 똑같은 대진이고, 그리고 킥오프 때도 패자조에서 올라가서 복수를 했기 때문에 스테이지 1에서도 똑같이 복수를 하고 싶고, 그리고 요번에 스테이지를 진행하면서 페이퍼렉스를 잡을 팀은 젠지밖에 없다는 걸 느껴서 저희가 꼭 이기도록 하겠습니다.
알겠습니다. Now, I feel like it's the same type of situation or same story as the kickoff. We were in the lower bracket, they knocked us down, but we had our revenge winning kickoff as well. So hopefully history repeats itself and we can do the same as what happened in kickoff. And throughout stage 1, I just felt like Gen.G are definitely the only team that can take Paper X down. So I'm praying to God and hopefully that we're able to do that tomorrow and take away the champions title for stage 1. Now that was Meteor. Congratulations, Meteor. And thank you for the post-match interview.
Thank you.
And congratulations to Gen.G for making it to the grand finals. And that's right, we have the grand finals coming up between Gen.G and Paper X. So get ready to buckle up for that banger matchup and we'll be back tomorrow.
하나, 둘, 셋, 원, 화이팅! 젠지!
Enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Saw you, Mosh!